And he goes jumping in. Amazing round. Great hat trick from Taz.
He flashes in and casts the ultimate. Then do you want any help left? Oh no, she will flash. The shield clutch.
Oh, a blink into all those units. The amazing defense champion of the Intel Extreme Masters.
Welcome to everyone from Kiev, Ukraine, for the last game. And what an epic game this will be of this wonderful, wonderful tournament. I'm here joined by David Turnley, Freak, known to all of you as one of the best commentators for League of Legends. And there's a big round of applause for Dave. We've had a phenomenal tournament so far, a long, long way. We've got two major teams playing in the finals. These 3 glass trophies are waiting to be picked up. This hoodie here for the MVP, the I Carried Kiev hoodie, which will be voted by you, the community, online on the ESL website, on the intelextrememasters.com website. Please go there and vote for the player that impressed you the most, that is the MVP of the tournament. He will get this hoodie. It's a one in the world hoodie. There's no other hoodie like this made. We're not selling them. It's just for that single player. Let's talk about the tournament so far, Dave. Which team are Kiev big?
Definitely Scars. Scar definitely came big to this tournament. He did a great job, and you know, Dignitas, I think they did a really good job. Basically coming back into 3rd place. They looked a little shaky yesterday. They got 2nd place in their group in a tough group, but they came big today, and they took out SK Gaming 2-1. So I mean, props to Scar. I think he's a SoloMid for them, and he knows how to go big.
Scar, you have big. So, let's talk about the finalists today. We've got M5, the underdogs, who basically demolished their competition so far, and we've got Team SoloMid, who are old friends of ours.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was fun. There were a lot of stories kind of surrounding this tournament. Moscow 5 and Team SoloMid, they were kind of talking back and forth to each other online and kind of built up a rivalry. And SoloMid, they actually even made a blog saying, they basically all kind of gathered around a camera and was like, Moscow 5, we're going to get you and we're going to dominate. It's going to be great. And they have the chance to prove it here, of course. And Moscow 5, we asked them the same question. They're like, yeah, we don't care. We're just going to win. Like, why are you asking us this? And I think that's 2 very interesting stances to take on the match. And I'm excited to see how it goes. Moscow 5 have a lot of hype from online. Team SoloMid proven on LAN many, many times. And we'll see if Moscow, if they crack under pressure or if the hype just fulfills and they take it over.
Certainly, this is probably the biggest storyline of the event, especially that it is Russia versus America. But let's go to the couch. Let's go to Daniel Klein and Vilat, who is the Russian-speaking commentator here. Let's go to the couch to interview the players of both teams. And by the way, shout out to the Reddit community with League of Legends. You've been absolutely phenomenal. We've got lots of great coverage, but I'm boring, they're not. Let's go to the couch.
And we're here on the couch, and I don't think I need to introduce these people anymore at this stage, but I'm going to anyway because I can. Right next to me here is Team SoloMid's team captain Reginald, and on the other side of the couch is Alex Ish, I believe also the team captain for Moscow 5. Yeah, so we have the 2 captains with us here right now. And this is going to be a rather exciting game. I'm not going to ask any of the stupid questions now, Reginald. I'm not going to ask who you think is going to win because honestly, you're here to win this. So I'm going to ask you instead, exactly how did the preparation look like for Team SoloMid? You have a gaming house. How did you prepare for this tournament? How did you manage to look so untouchable throughout the entire tournament so far?
Well, I mean, mostly it's just practice, 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 and we came into this tournament losing a lot, and our morale was down, but like I said before, there was a lot of trash talking before this event, and it gave us motivation to try really hard. I mean, before we were just playing like a couple hours a day, playing solo queue all day, having fun, and we just decided to scrim up 5, maybe like a couple games we lost, and there was a lot of trash talking after we lost, so it gave us a lot of motivation, and I just want to thank M5 for giving us that motivation. So we're going to come here and we're going to stomp them.
Ну что, первый вопрос Реджиналду, капитану команды Team SoloMid, прозвучал, конечно же, не о будущей игре, а о том, как команда Team SoloMid готовилась, собственно, к турниру. Как мы знаем, у них есть свой гейминг-хаус, они были там на буткемпе, не постоянно там на буткемпе, но, собственно, Реджинальд отвечает, что в последнее время мы много играли, много проигрывали после этих поражений. Конечно же, мотивация играть поднимается, много трэш-токинга звучит просто внутри команды и так далее в интернетах, и в итоге это только заряжает команду. И вот после последних поражений в скримах, в онлайн-турнирах и в других матчах ребята приехали сюда полностью готовы, они мотивированы, и они уверены, что они победят сегодня в игре.
M5 have made the tournament look very, very easy so far. You've, just like TSM, you've not dropped a single map yet. You've defeated all your opponents. It looked without a problem. Now, I have this question for you. So far, everyone you played against seemed to be rather passive and sitting back and allowing you to, you know, go into their jungle, not protecting the early buffs. TSM, on the other hand, are probably next to you the most aggressive team in this tournament. I mean, the man who's sitting next to you has been known as aggressive Reginald for the longest time. Do you think this is going to make it much harder for you guys to pull off your standard strategies?
Okay. I think we will play like we always play. We're not going to change something. We're just going to outban all Reginald's heroes and just win this.
Ну что, вопрос прозвучал к команде М5, так как М5 на этом турнире играли со всеми практически своими соперниками, которые играли пассивно, то есть играли от защиты. Но сейчас они будут встречаться с Team SoloMid, которые известны своей атакующей, своей доминирующей игрой и так далее. Что думает по поводу этого М5? Ну, Алексей отвечает, что да ничего, мы не думаем. Мы как бы не собираемся абсолютно ничего менять, мы просто позабаним абсолютно всех героев, которыми хорошо играет Реджинальд, и выиграем эту игру.
So Diamond Prox is certainly, I would say, probably one of the two candidates for MVP of this tournament. People have been following his Shyvana jungle a lot. There's been a lot of talk on the forums and on Reddit as well. The odd one now, without question, also one of the best junglers in the game. But is he also one of the best counter junglers? And by extension, has your team come up with any strategies that will enable Odd One to survive in his jungle under all that pressure from Diamond Prox?
I mean, right now, I think the counter jungling is all hyped up. It all comes down to picks. Like, people are always talking about, oh, this player is so amazing because he's going to a jungle and he's counter jungling. But it's not just one player. It's a whole team allowing that one player to go in the jungle and counter jungling. If Diamond Prox is doing well counter jungling, it's up to his mid. His mid is good. That's why it allows him to go in there without dying. He's overhyped. I think that every single player on M5 is allowing him to go in there and counter jungle. There's no doubt that he is good. It's just that his whole team is just as good. That's why he's doing so well. So, I mean, for me, I believe that whoever wins the event and the MVP should just go to the whole team. Like, I don't think Diamond Prox is like Jesus, where he's like so amazing. I think if he gets MVP, his mid deserves it just as much. His support that helps him counter jungle deserves it just as much as well.
Ну что, вопрос по поводу Diamond Prox, лесника команды Moscow 5. Не считают ли ребята из TSM, что он создает тут самые большие проблемы, и что их лесник не сможет просто-напросто переджанглить Diamond Prox? На что Реджинальд отвечает, что да, конечно, Diamond Prox заслуживает звания MVP, он один из кандидатов на звание MVP этого турнира, да, действительно, он играет просто прекрасно, его контрджанглинг на уровне, но это не только его заслуга, и не стоит его величать, не стоит его считать чуть ли не Иисусом, который может сделать все, что хочет. Вся команда Moscow 5 работает на то, чтобы помогать контрджанглить своему игроку, и в итоге поэтому у Diamond Prox так все хорошо получается. Так что не стоит также сбрасывать со счетов за Отбора, который будет играть на такой же позиции у команды Team SoloMid, и считает Reginald, что в принципе справится они с Diamond Prox.
So I spoke to Ocelot yesterday after the match of SK versus M5, and one thing that he pointed out to me is that you, Alex, like to run very, very tanky stuff in mid lane, and certainly that's part of what Reginald just pointed out, that it helps the mid lane to be able to go into the enemy jungle and help counter jungle. But would you say that you generally have a somewhat different set of champions that you pick, and by extension, do you think that you'll be able to shut down Reginald in mid lane?
I think we will see. I am not going to say something. We're just came here to win. We're not like we want to play versus TSM or something. We just came to win this.
Ну, очень сложный, длинный был вопрос по поводу того, что как играет Алексеевич в миде, как какие айтемы собирает, как это помогает джанглить, контрджанглить. И как он будет стоять против Реджинальда в миде, ну, ответ, я думаю, вы все прекрасно поняли, что да неважно, как я буду стоять против Реджинальда в миде, мы сюда приехали выигрывать, нам неважно, там сидят ТСМ, СК, Dignitas или 5 Иисусов, мы приехали сюда выигрывать.
So, Reginald, Team SoloMid, is the American hope in this tournament? Certainly for a while people have been saying, maybe America's falling behind a little bit internationally, certainly after New York, where I think there was not a single American team in the top 3. So, also on top of that, there's the whole, I'm just going to say it, Rocky 4 stuff that they've been saying in Reddit. Do you feel any extra pressure on your team? I mean, this is not just any team. This is a Russian-speaking team in Kiev, where a lot of people speak Russian, so they have somewhat of a home field advantage. They've been practicing here in this very arena for a couple of days before the tournament already. And of course, there are a couple of video logs that I saw on the internet. So do you feel that you have, that you made a promise to your fans that you have to live up to now, or is this just another game?
This is definitely not another game. There's so much on the line. We have to win, and it will happen.
All right, and I'm going to end this with a very simple question for you, Alexis. 2-1 or 2-0?
Guys from the scene, what do you think? Can anyone cheer up for Moscow 5? Поддержите нас!
Well...
Вопрос был сначала ребятам с Team SoloMid, что как бы у вас проблемы немножечко, Америка сдает, и вот вы тут будете играть против русских в Киеве, кричать будут, важная игра. Реджинальд отвечает, что да, игра очень важна, ну а что сказал Алексей, вы, собственно, слышали.
So, no pressure at all, guys, but this is the epic game that everybody has been waiting for, so I hope you're going to go up there and entertain us. Best of luck to both teams. I am going to watch this game from the front row. I'm not going to take my eyes off the screen for a second. I'm super excited for this, and I hope everybody at home watching is super excited as well. I think we should just stop with the whole interviewing and go into the game as quickly as possible, because I can't wait, and I'm sure there's a couple of people at home who can't really wait either. So we're going to cut over to the game in just a moment, as soon as these gentlemen make it back to the stage, and I'm just hoping for a really, really exciting best of 3 series here.
The Intel Extreme Masters is powered by Welcome back to Intel Extreme Masters Global Challenge here in Kiev, and of course we are going to kick off the League of Legends Grand Final. Joining me is none other than a good old friend of mine, Lee Demon Smith. How are you doing, Lee? How's things going today?
I am very good. I've spent the entire morning sat behind Dignitas. The SK were at the side there. They had got like the StarCraft guys behind them. I think the StarCraft guys were a bit bewildered as why this crowd was hoarding around them. They weren't looking at the StarCraft guys. MMA and Xenia was sat there and they were like, where are all these people coming from? And I'm trying to get behind SK to watch the LoL matches. But that's how big League of Legends has got. And wow, we really have the biggest game right now. TSM, Moscow 5, USA, Russia, Rocky 4, which everybody's been pulling out. Hell, I've seen the Rocky training montage, everything this morning. It's been fantastic. And really, it does the job for us. We don't need to hype this final up because everybody's pumped.
Doing it for you, because everyone wants to see this. We have the two teams that have gone through the tournament. No one's really touched them. We saw the second semi-final yesterday. TSM, well, they were just unstoppable. They were really unstoppable.
They were, but both teams have not dropped anything in this game, in this tournament. Yeah. TSM looked, convincing even against SK. Obviously, we saw Moscow 5 absolutely rampaging over SK. I mean, it's so hard to call this one. I know I've spoken to TSM this morning. I've not had that much of a chance to speak to Moscow 5. Alex, obviously, is a pretty good English speaker, but he's been... they didn't turn up till quite late, actually. You know, they're relaxed, they're chilling, they're all prepared for this one. There they are on your screens. That is the Moscow 5 guys. You can see, obviously, Darian on the end there, Genja. Genja yesterday, what a classic quote. Isn't it like, you know, asking him, who do you actually go for? Who do you target? See hero, kill hero.
See hero, kill hero.
It's about as straightforward as you can make it. There's Team SoloMid, all prepared. Chaos it is not scared of the dark, I'm told. Despite the fact there is a certain video going around with even with the Nocturne Darkness on it now. I don't know whether you've seen it now.
Yeah, that's a pretty awesome one, actually. But what are your feelings for this one? Because TSM Moscow 5, actually, here in the ESL crew, we've got a little sheet of paper where we guess the winners of each tournament. Unfortunately, me and Demon didn't win anything from the first game. We bet on the wrong team.
Oh, we both had SK, okay.
Yeah, but we both, for this one, have different opinions.
Yeah, I've actually gone with Team SoloMid. I think they've figured it out, but you know, it's interesting because obviously everybody here has certainly the top players are all in contact with each other. So you've had all the top players from everywhere giving their opinions on how to beat Moscow 5. You need to do this, you need to ban out this guy, you need to sort out this strat. And even Ocelot came up this morning and said, we really should have banned Shyvana and Gangplank. It's like, oh really? We kind of told you that before the game. And he's like, yeah, but we didn't see it until then. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, well,
okay.
the problem that we've seen so far is everyone's got a counter to Moscow 5, except they haven't. It's just not worked out for them so far.
And interestingly enough, they've been doing their research. TSM have been researching on Moscow 5. They've been checking out their accounts, what they play, etc. And they think if we do ban out them, they might pull out a Xin Zhao in the jungle, which is something that apparently they've played a lot of. I don't know how legit that one's going to be, whether he's just been trolling people in queue to build up that stat. And of course, also, if Sona doesn't get banned out, I'm pretty sure TSM are going to pick it up first. They just think it's the strongest hero in the game at the moment. We've certainly thought that, but there's a lot of teams that actually don't use her, which has kind of surprised us, and it actually surprised TSM. We spoke to the Odd One earlier. I was talking to him about, obviously, what Diamonds has been doing in the jungle. What's he thinking of countering against it? And he's like, well, I'm not too sure, I think what he's seen, he says, what the other junglers have done has not really been, block him, or he's always had support from other people. He doesn't think Alex is going to be able to help him support him because Reggie will be on his case. We are going into the picks and bans. So let's see what they go with, but there's a couple of interesting things. Immediately, TSM banning out Royce, Ramos taking straight out Moscow 5. Gangplank.
No messing around
My
here.
God, this is quick face-paced, and people actually wonder why we don't break down the picks and bans so much, but sometimes they just get picked in so very quickly. Gangplank banned out there, so immediately Darian is targeted, and he was one of the main things throughout this tournament so far. He's been taking, if you start on the purple side, he's been taking the red. If you start on the blue side, he's been taking the blue, which is obviously the two buffs at the bottom area of the map. LeBlanc targeted out there, so that's thinking Reginald was going to pick that up. I don't think Reggie was going for that one. He's obviously talked about this AP champion he's got, and there's like a thread on Reddit. It's got like 200 plus replies. Everybody's going, oh, it's going to be this. We talked about AP Sirac as a possibility, and I think
that's mine and Demon's combo.
No, it's not my combo. There's actually quite a lot of people that come up with it. I have no idea, honestly. He could come up with anything. Remember, he pulled out AP Janna at the Gamescom finals.
Exactly, yeah.
So it really could be something. And there we go. Nunu banned out and Carter's banned out, so they didn't want a Empire pulled on them.
Surprise!
And
Sona
there it is.
First pick.
The Sona pick first straight away. It's what they said. X-Special was just saying, I don't understand why people aren't taking this hero all the time, like insta picking, because it's just so strong, and
we've seen it time and time again, which almost surprises me that Moscow 5 maybe didn't go for that as a ban. Actually, Alex said in the interview, I wasn't sure if trolling or not, when he's like, we just ban Reginald's champions out and that's it. But actually, they've pretty much gone along that route there. Carthus LeBlanc banned out, obviously Ramos gone as well, and Shyvana is going to be the first pick along with Tariq. So not going for that AD down bottom. They're going to be looking to counter whatever TSM go for.
And Shyvana, so we talked about this with Shyvana. I think someone's pulled a stats page together of all the kills per minute, etc., and he's miles ahead of the Odd One from what he's been doing. But the Odd One tends to play more of a support role in the jungle, coming out, helping Reginald get the ganks in the mid. Hasn't really been that much ganks up top. And honestly, the Rayman didn't really need it. Certainly against Dignitas, he played Teemo amazingly well.
Brilliantly, yeah.
Completely pushed to the lane, had the 2 towers down without any help whatsoever. How are they going to react to that? I don't know. They're thinking Aurelia up the top, so okay. So Rayman's going to be on Aurelia, and obviously Graves is that pick that goes with Sona, very, very strong down the bottom there, which I'm wondering whether they're going to go with Severe this time. Moscow 5 down the bottom. They've been with Cogmore the last few times.
And I really like their Cogmore as well. We saw from Genja, I thought his positioning was 100% spot on 100% of the time. He had a real strong game, that last one that we saw with his Cogmore. And, you know, just the range was completely destroying. Which team is it again that we did?
The one they walked over? SK.
SK. He was SK.
Actually, no, we didn't
the group stage.
Yeah, it was AAA.
Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah.
So, you know, I could see that coming out here. Obviously, Graves, Sona is going to be the bottom lane for TSM. Actually, Darian looking like we could have Lee Sin coming out now.
Lee Sin top lane could be a possibility. And there is Cogmore. Yeah, so Cogmore's been locked straight in. So I guess they're going to be maybe a slightly tankier AP because they're going to want to try and protect Cogmore as much as possible. Skarner being picked out for the odd one there. So he's going to feel that one's going to be better. Obviously, the American scene do favour Skarner quite heavily. European scene have kind of been a bit late to pick it up. They've definitely been playing it a lot of late in the various tournaments we've covered. I can't speak for what's happening in solo queue, etc. because at the end of the day, there's only 2,500 people in the top 1,800 ELO of the world. That's North America, EU, West, and Nordic East. So it's funny that all those people are on Reddit as well. It's great.
Of course.
Anyway, Cassiopeia being picked up by the by Reginald. That's going to be in the middle there. So Cassiopeia versus Galio. A lot of people always pick Galio as the obviously the opposite towards Cassiopeia. He's got that range, he can farm easily, and of course it's building up towards that tanky build-up with Cogmore defense. So they've got great defense here. They've got the Galio ulti they can plant down, which is going to obviously keep Cogmore way back. We said before, like Genja was just miles back against all authority. He's got the stun with Pepper just supporting him, and Darian can always just kick them away if they come closer, and Shyvana will just be burning around him, saying, yeah, really stay away from him. So obviously the odd one we're going to be seeing, maybe trying to get out and pluck him out there with his ulti, but TSM have gone with, you know, I was wondering whether they were going to go with anything spectacular this time, whether we're going to change it up or not.
You know, this thing that Reginald said, which was, I'm going to bring a surprise out to this game. I didn't expect to see it in game number 1. They're going to play pretty standard, I'd assume, in game number 1. However, should they lose that one, that's when you can expect that Reginald might bring it out, or, you know, even in game number 3 if they get that far. So
we can only hope. We like a best of 3.
I'd like to see a best of 3, to be honest. When we've got a best of 3, I'd like to see all 3 games. Actually, the third place playoff game, the second match was a 51-minuter, I think it was, at the end of things. Real close stuff there. But this one is ticking down now, and we're about to kick things off. So what are your opinions on the bans and picks that we've got? Who's the stronger team right now?
I'm going to say Moscow 5. They've got what they've been going with. Pretty much they've been allowed it, barring obviously Gangplank being taken out of there. Question is, will they be able to invade like they have? Diamonds has taken Lee Sin, which means Darian is going to be on top lane and Shyvana. Now, they can both jungle just as well as Gangplank. So chances are they could do exactly the same as they've been doing, you know, taking those bottom buffs. And with the support, Pepper has been going in there supporting them, so we've always had him go following on. So it'd be interesting to see, literally from 1 minute 40 onwards, when those buffs all spawn up, where people are going to be on the map. Now TSM know that they're going to obviously try and invade their jungle early on, so whether we're going to see wards early on down there, because at the moment Darian has been going pretty solo when he's been getting these buffs, so he could easily be caught out, maybe, you know, in a low hit point position and get a quick first blood at him. TSM did this type of tactic probably around about 6 months ago. They were doing pretty much identical. They were constantly evading all the time, which is what the odd one really became completely famous for, because he was leading the charge in this way. They know how to counter this. They've had it countered on themselves. They've played the top teams of the world that have figured out this tactic, and they've had to change that tactic. So if anyone knows how to play against what Moscow 5 do, it should be TSM.
And just to point out for you guys that are wondering, why are Moscow 5 wearing more electronic equipment on their head than any sane person normally ever would. That's because out there on the stage we actually have Russian commentary, which TSM can't understand as far as I'm aware, unless they've got someone who's secretly studied up on their side to learn for a situation like this, but I doubt that. But they have basically in-ear headphones that go in there, then they've got the big soundproof headsets over the top, then they've got their normal headphones around their neck because they need to have the microphone in there as well. So let's get this one underway. It's TSM versus Moscow 5. It's the grand final of the Intel Extreme Masters Global Challenge in Kiev.
So let's see where Moscow 5 will go. Will they invade? Will they do a double invade? Will they group up? TSM covering off. Are we going to see a ward placement here from anyone? As Xpecial does have wards on him. He has 3 wards very early on. So will he get those early wards down? Will they place them early on? I was sitting with TSM while they watched Moscow 5 versus SK, and they were really quite tight on what exactly tactics they were doing. They're going to do this, they're doing that. They were spotting things pretty quickly. And Moscow 5 are staying as a 5 this time. They are sticking together. So they're going to try and invade for the blue. TSM at the moment, with that CV up any second now. That's TSM. So there we go. There's the actual clairvoyants, their own clairvoyants, putting on towards the bush there. Moscow 5, and they're all porting back now. Yeah, every single one of them is going back. So we're not going to see that initial fast counter him, which means every single one of them has teleported back. TSM have clairvoyants available, and this is going to be a very delicate game, I feel, Joe.
Yeah, this game number 1 I feel a bit longer of what we've seen so far, specifically because in this best 3 you want that good start, you want to get off well. And one thing that we've noticed actually, TSM when they've started blue side of the map have so often taken this route up through the middle and over towards the enemy blue and warded that. We've seen that time and time and time again from them. However, this time really not going for that. They've played it very defensive from the start.
Yeah, Reginald helping out on the Wraiths and on the red buff there with the odd one. So they've obviously talked about what they need to cover off. Blue buff will be taken now. It's Diamonds that's taking it in the jungle. Yeah, he's going to have that, so he's going to go around the jungle with that. He's just taken that down, so which means Darian has not had any invade at the start, but he is playing Shyvana versus Aurelia, so we're going to have to keep our eye on whether that one's going to tail out. Reginald has been playing brilliantly, but then again, so has Alex. They are both the very top AP champions so far of this tournament. And here we go, we've got an invade coming from Diamonds. He's going to realise the Wraiths are not there. Is he going to go for Reginald? Will he go north or south? And it was great. You don't always get a chance, especially us guys that we obviously commentate these games. We don't always get a chance to see these guys, what actually the calls that go through them. There's no ward in Tribush. He's going to come around the backside of KX right now. KX manages to dash just about the right time, perfectly placed as well. Xpecial just using that flash to get away from Diamonds, and TSM escaped the first gank attempt. Back towards the middle, you can see that there is a poison dot already on Alex. So Reginald trying to keep control of that mid. Keep our eye on Diamonds, where he's going to go. But what I was saying is, I was listening to I Will Dominate, the discussions they're having between them, you know, when they were talking about they're going to have a gank opportunity. No, he's pushed slightly too far up. I can go up help. Do you need help up top? I'm going to go for blue. I'm going to do all that. It's going 10 to a dozen, the comms between these guys. Sometimes it'd be great to just tune in on them some way through the games to really see what you know, have like a replay of what actually went through their mind, because you don't always get it out. When you do an interview later on, I don't always get the honest answer of actually what happened throughout that match. But as it stands at the moment, the early little poke back and forward is very even between Reginald and Alex in the middle there. And still no, like I say, no massive early invades. Diamonds had a quick look for one. We've not seen Odd One going looking really much. And it's pretty even still. 3.5 minutes into this game, and no kills, no deaths, no invades.
Oh, down at bottom there, Genja. A little bit low. KX decided not to push in for that one. Obviously, Pepper is in that bottom brush area, which would expect from the Tariq, just trying to cause a few problems and, you know, making the enemy team scared of that stun coming out towards you. As we see in the middle, actually, Galio did go back. That's Alex, of course, who's using a different name for this one. I've got no idea what it actually means. I'm not going to say it just in case it's something bad in Russian. Nah, my translation will be bad anyway, but here we go. Chaos actually being stunned there and slowed, but still not so much damage coming out onto him just yet. Xpecial around about half HP. And at some point, Moscow 5 are going to commit to this one. Up at the top, we've got quite a bit of action possibly about to happen, because Diamonds is coming up here, double buff. Odd One is in the brush up at the top, and Skarner's going to come in. Maybe Diamonds will wait until Odd One has gone away. Yes, he will. He's now pretty much too far away to help, but there he's going to be going back. Rainman getting himself into a fairly backwards position as well, rather than being so aggressive as he was before, and that will mean that Diamonds goes back off into the jungle to keep going.
So Reginald's just backed. He's got himself a Doran's Ring. Galio, of course, in the middle as well, and very much even CS between the two. He's got himself his Mickey pendant. And just seeing where he's going to go. He's going to go ward up the Wraiths. Reggie's going to try and poison him as he goes back. Puts the ward in the river. And this is something that Alex actually talked about with Dignitas, saying, with SK and Dignitas, in fact, said, you know, they didn't really ward up the bushes. I went back, I bought the wards. Skara didn't go back, he went back and he didn't buy the wards, so I immediately had the advantage of him. Reginald really putting the pressure on him here, thinks he can go for the kill, tries to get the dot in, does get the ignite. I don't think it's going to quite be enough. The heal pot should manage to pull him through. He's on 20 health, manages to pull out of that one though. He did have Diamond. I think, I'm not sure whether Diamond actually put the shield in him. I didn't quite see whether he did, but Reginald really making use of that. And that's going to push his CS up as well. And obviously that was all came from simply placing that ward down there. Reginald spotted it early, put the ward in the bush so he could get full vision of him, and now he's going to maybe try and go for an invade on the Wraiths. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
The pings go down, so Alex knows immediately. But this is what he did against Dignitas yesterday. He was constantly pulling those Wraiths as Cassiopeia, and it seems to be working very well. Obviously taking tips off Ocelot's Cassiopeia video.
That's exactly what he's been doing. I'm not sure about that. We saw it first game against Dignitas. I expected it to them to get rid of Cassiopeia in the second game. That didn't happen, and Reginald basically just came out and did exactly the same once again. Down at bottom there you can see Genja being knocked down to around about half HP. His support just coming back into lane there. Pepper did go back for a pink ward now, so we're going to try to clear out any vision that TSM may have around there. Galio actually going down towards the Wraiths and said, well, if you're going to steal my Wraiths, I will fancy a bit of yours as well, which didn't quite happen. However, Diamonds is now in the TSM jungle. Where is the Odd One? He's down just below there at the Golems, but Diamonds is going to come through. There is actually no ward in there as well, and they're going to move in onto Xpecial. Slowed. The stun actually had just run out there. What's Xpecial going to do? He burned his flash earlier. He's back up and he manages to flash to safety. Diamonds may be overextended here. We are going to see the Odd One try and get in there. Not quite able to do the damage that he needed. Diamonds needs to be careful not to come too far back into this fight. And in the end, he doesn't, and both teams get away with their lives.
Yeah, meanwhile, Darian's on an invade of his own, taking the Wolves as well from the jungle. Saw Skarner down the bottom there, said, right, fine, it's free and empty, so I'm going to pick up a bit more CS. Whether that's, yeah, he didn't have the lane push, so he's absolutely right to, but very tense stuff. This is exactly what we expected here. The Odd One looking like going for a little bit of invade. He knows the blue buff is up. He's having a little look. Clairvoyance goes down, so TSM having a good look towards there. Pops a ward in the bush. That will give him full view of Alex as he goes around. Now they know that they're doing the blue. Have they got anyone around? Is Reginald going to move down towards it? No. It looks like the Odd One may just think about trying to pop in and get a steal. No, they've backed away from it. He's choose not to go for it, so he's going to pull away, which means Reginald immediately replies and goes straight towards the Wraiths. Rayman going back, very even at the top there as well. 67 CS to 62. That will go to 67 any second now. And they pings go down as Pepper comes along and wards up. Like you mentioned, there's not really been any wards on the tri-bush, and that's twice at least since come down the bottom and actually managed to get up behind them. But they've every time they've done it, they've had the flash available.
Yeah, and they've actually warded there down at the bottom of the ramp, as we are seeing that pressure coming onto Reggie again. We have blue buff now on Galio, so he's going to become that little bit more dangerous Meki pendant from earlier that he had, plus that null magic mantle the last time that it was actually on. We're seeing Darian head south into the jungle of TSM once again, and he's going to go straight in for those wolves and steal them actually 2 spawns in a row.
Yeah, and just to touch on it back there, Reginald actually had to use his ulti there onto Alex in mid, so he's burned his ulti down to try and get out of that one, so he had to escape. Now blue buff is available, and of course you got Darian in there and Shyvana. Now Alex is coming around, so they're going to try and get the steal on and giving it across. The ping goes down, Clairvoyance goes down, they know that they're all closing in from every direction here. Reginald coming from the south there, he's going to manage to get across, and that blue buff has been picked up by Darian, so they really need to get a kill on someone here to try and steal it. Rayman's going to come round, the ulti, I'm not too sure is with Alex at the moment. No, it isn't, so he's going to come around. Manages to flash through it. We got the odd one just coming in as well. Surely first blood may be coming this one. Darian leaps in towards Reginald. Reginald may well go down here. Yes, he will be. First blood goes to Reginald. Meanwhile, Alex is just keeping it a distance around the side where, and immediately the Rayman does pick up the kill, but I don't think he's going to be able to get away from this one. Will get taken down. That's 2-1, and Moscow 5 take the lead. Meanwhile, all that happened, there was a bit of poking going on down the bottom, but that has all led from the blue buff being taken, and Moscow 5 now sitting pretty with just a single blue buff, because obviously Galio had the other one, but that is the blue buff invade already taken by Moscow 5. It's what we expected to see, Joe, and really what a fantastic game this is going to turn out to be.
You can feel it already, can't you? They see that 10 start, the kills very edgy coming in. We saw Alex being in trouble, managed to work his way out, actually came back into the fight to offer that little bit more damage that they needed to finish off those couple of kills. Ooh, Pepper down at the bottom, just getting himself out of the way before Chaos got in there. He probably would have died from that one. I mean, his stun, I assume, was already up and ready to go. But we've got 12.4k gold to 12.7. Obviously, with those kills coming in earlier, Chaos will be able to push this lane a little bit now. There is a ward, a purple ward actually, over by Dragon for Moscow 5. That's allowed them to keep the vision there. They cleared out a couple of wards from TSM on that position earlier on. But no team feeling like it's time to go in there, as we will see actually they move in, and that is a very dead Chaos. What a move from Moscow 5. Actually the teleport from Alex down towards bottom. We saw the flash actually to get the stun off from Pepper, and that is what you call a clean kill. And just as I was saying, no team's really in a position to do Dragon. Are we going to see Moscow 5 start it out? No, I think they might even try and have a go at Reginald here.
Yeah, they thought about it. I think they're going to go back for the Dragon. They did put that pink ward and clear out the wards of TSM, and I think they're going to take this one pretty free and easy. I don't think TSM are going to be able to reply to this one. They don't have Chaos, so they don't have their AD carry, and there it is, picked up, taken it away, which gives them that small lead in the gold, 1,000 gold, just between the two, and very tense stuff. 3-1, the score at the moment. Rayman going up towards north, placing wards as he goes. He's going to see Alex coming in round there. He's got Darian with him, so I don't think he's going to be able to do anything about that. And Darian's going to follow his path up towards the north. Meanwhile, down the south, they've got Genja just trying to poke forward there, trying to maybe catch out X-Special. X-Special's had to back off, wait for his AD carry to get round. What I was going to say earlier on is actually Chaos was quite far ahead in the CS. He was around about 20 CS ahead, but of course that death has immediately put him on the back foot. You can see the CS is still only about 10 difference, but he is 1-0 down in terms of kills between the lanes, and of course a Dragon down as well. So really immediately that's just that one little play, just getting caught too far up the lane, and really, you know, a teleport from a mid lane Galio is a bit harsh, but these things can happen. Odd One's going to try and catch on towards Diamonds there, trying to just actually protect his ward, and using that shield on the ward as well. Does manage to take it down, dives him back towards the Odd One. Odd One didn't bother using the ulti. He was available, possibly could have pulled someone down there in towards KX. Not too sure whether they had the damage to deal with it. Ping's going down in towards the mid there, and again Shyvana is off on a roam. So Darian once again coming down. Wolf Timer must be up any second. Actually comes across and says, the Old One's already been here.
Yeah, he had been there just before that. Actually, Reginald just moving back towards Odd One's position. They weren't too sure if Moscow 5 were going to have that little bit of an invade. They've got the ward in that small brush around that side. Let's see, down at the bottom, they're exchanging a few blows as well, but nothing to really write home about. Actually, Genja, the last time he was there, he got his Berserker Greaves plus double Doran's Blade, plus a bit of armor as well. However, we saw Graves, Chaos of course, with double Doran's Blade, plus those Berserker Greaves, and he's gone for that extra damage early on with the pickaxe.
Yeah, a little poke back and forward between the Rayman and Darian up the top there. Just to get out while that burn's going. Ignite actually used. Darian maybe thought he could get the kill there. I was hoping Darian Rayman would possibly sit around. He's had to use the health pot. He'll just farm straight back up there on all those minions though. Pop them shards off. Blue buff in the meantime has been given across to Alex, and immediately Shyvana and Alex now moving across. So Darian's in place. Oh, the Odd One just teleported back, and I think Darian would have seen that. So he's going to realise that the blue buff will be available in, I think it's around about a minute's time. so already in position. Reginald needs to be careful. He's got one north and south of him, as well as Galio. There could be a possible dive on. Ping's going down as well. Diamond's taking the red buff. They know about it. Reginald's moving across now. You can see the ignite down there. Will he manage to get the steal? No, he won't, and that's going to be Diamond surely going to get away from that one. Pops his ulti on him, uses the ward to dash away. Very nicely played. Moscow 5
and that frees
really
up the
on
blue
the
buff.
game, and that does indeed free up the blue buff for Darian to take it for a second time. He's going to go head-to-head with Rayman. I'm not too sure Rayman wants this fight, really. He's going to have Lee Sin just coming up the river at the moment. He's going to have to back away from this one, Rayman. He's in all sorts of trouble now because he's got 2 on him. The odd one's going to try and come up and help. Alex comes and follows. Rayman's going to get surely pulled into this one. Oh, he popped his ulti and dashed out of the way of it. Just perfectly placed. Reginald's going to get across. Crescendo goes across. That will be a kill on Lee Sin. But now Alex is going to have to desperately pull away from this one. Could turn around and maybe try and kill Reginald. That's what he's going to try to do. Dashes around. Can he juke back and forth? He doesn't have flash available. Can he get taken down by the damage of X Special and the odd one? I'm not too sure. They've quite got it in him. And he just walks away from the fight. Wow, this is going to be a very close game. Shyvana was very low in amongst all that as well. And wow, 2-3 in kills. Very close in goal, just 1,000 difference. The CS pretty much across the board is bang on. And well, actually, Galio is out farming Cassiopeia at the moment. But Joe, this is a tense match.
A tense match, and at a point where, you know, the other games that we've seen after 15 minutes, you could call most of them, actually. This is one of those that you have no idea at which point it's going to go. In terms of the individual scores, again, it's very even. Cogmore does have 1-0-0 compared to the Graves 0-1-0, so that's that little advantage down there. Actually, Graves now has the CS advantage, though. In terms of the middle, 1-1-1 for Cassiopeia, 0-1-3 for Galio. Up at the top, 1-1-1 for Irelia and 1-0-1 for Shyvana. But that was a nice move in theory from Moscow 5. You know, they stole away red buff, that pulled TSM down towards it. That freed up then the blue buff for them. They decided to engage in that fight, and you have to give credit to TSM for the way that they handled that fight, for how they came out on top of it actually as well, to bring us to a 2-3 scoreline, still though in favor of Moscow 5.
Yeah, and so far they've been very reactionary fights. You know, they've either moved to engage for it and they've been spotted it, and literally 3 people from the top mid and jungle immediately had to reply, and top middle jungle of TSM have immediately reacted to that. So they've been very quick at reacting, which some of the teams just weren't quite ready for, I felt, earlier in the tournament. But TSM maybe have read the situation here, I'm not too sure. M5 obviously currently with that lead. Dragon will be spawning very soon. As stun goes down towards KX there, they're trying to pressure this bottom lane so they can force them away, obviously give them that advantage for when Dragon fight comes around. We can see at the moment Shyvana is making his way down the river, which means Dragon must be due because Darian's starting to get in position for that. Will he try and sneak around the back? No, he will get spotted, so that's going to immediately alert them. You can see Lee Sin moving back into position as well. Bottom lane had been pushed. Garner's there. Cassiopeia now moving across. You can see also Rayman making his way down river. Darian's going to steal the race while he waits for the dragon to spawn and says thanks a lot, I'll take the big wraith and just leave them to it. But TSM are ready for this fight, Joe. Let's see if they're going to go in for it. Here we go. Clairvoyance goes down. They know that it's there. They are... I'm not too sure about the split positioning that they have. Cogmore, though, is below them. Cogmore continues to farm. They could maybe try and scissor off, pick him off. They're going to go in a 4-on-1 position. Rayman's kind of out of spot at the moment. He's going to have to get around in behind him. And Cogmore's actually been split away. It's something we don't normally see. Genja's not too sure how to approach this one. He realizes that, you know, he can't get past this 4-man team. He needs to be very wary of certainly that Skarner coming out and plucking him away. And at the moment, Reginald is just looking for his opportunity. Here we go. You can see the ulti again, keeping the perfect vision on them. They're still not pulling that dragon. The Rayman has made his way round and joined the team. So TSM, all as a 5. There we go. Genja's going to come back around the side. Now that Moscow 5 feel they're in a stronger situation to go for it. Darian clearing out that ward that just got put in the back of the pit. TSM waiting, biding their time for this engage. They've pulled Dragon out. Moscow 5 going for it. There's wards absolutely everywhere. They have perfect vision. They really need to bide their time, be able to dive in. Here goes the odd one. He's going to try and get in and maybe smite that. Will he manage to get the smite? Went to Moscow 5. I think Moscow 5 picked that one up. Skarner does get taken down straight away. Genja picking the kill up for that one. Meanwhile, Diamonds is going to try and desperately take him low. They can have got Darian in their faces, though. TSM all on low health at the moment. Diamonds the only one from Moscow 5 really in desperate trouble, and that means TSM are going to try and back out of this one. Reginald surely going to get taken down. Rayman diving in, trying desperately to get the kill on Diamonds. Is not going to happen. And Moscow 5 came out huge in that fight, 3-0. And the dragon, I believe, in amongst
TSM
it all.
TSM got the dragon. Yeah, definitely. I was keeping
So was
a
it worth
special
it? That's
eye
the
on
question, because it would be okay if the odd one went in and died getting it, then yeah, maybe, but I think TSM had to back out. As soon as they stole it, they knew they were going to sacrifice one of their team members, but they weren't, I don't know, just something just didn't work in that team fight. Darian got in their faces, and I think it completely put them off.
Yeah, and the thing is, it would have... Oh, there was the kill down at bottom. I was looking in the middle there. But still, that's a great move from Moscow 5 in that one. Yeah, but yeah, the fight around Dragon, the thing was, they were focusing Moscow 5 on taking that Dragon down, and you could see Oddone was just, do I go close enough? Where do I get the... when do I get the smite off? They managed to steal it. But from that point on, it wasn't all that great. However, you've got to say that if Moscow 5 had taken the Dragon, they were already too close trying to get the smite anyway.
Indeed, and Genja obviously picking up that kill on KX. Apologies for missing that one. Wasn't quite expecting a fight between the two ADs down the bottom straight away. I guess I should have been ready for that when we had it the other day. And Genja really is pressuring this bottom tower. You saw him force a special away. Blue buff was picked up by TSM this time around. I think it's actually only their second blue buff of the game. It went to Reginald. But Genja really is starting to pour it on down the bottom. You can see Special's like, yeah, I really can't get near here. KX is not with me. KX now coming up around the top there. He's actually going to take the golems on the way there. Reginald, you can see, starting to put pressure onto Alex in the mid there. Try and keep him away from the, I would say CS, but he's got no minions there. So just anything just forcing him away. Tribush ward been placed as well. And that bottom tower is precariously low. Let's have a look towards the top. Top is actually pretty much even between the two towers. Mid is around about even as well. Probably a slight advantage to Moscow 5 there, but they are 7-2 up in kills. There are 2 dragons up by my count, as well as many buffs, which is also what's actually putting them ahead in that gold. Clairvoyant's going down on the red there, and immediately was cleared out. Pink buff got put, pink ward should I say, put down, and immediately cleared out. And Moscow 5 actually been using those pink wards to great success so far. Every time they've really watched where TSM place their ward, going to immediately put that pink ward down and said thank you very much, 25 gold.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we've noted from those Go for All East Nordic things, the monthly finals that we've been doing on ESL TV, the pink ward usage. We saw it from the Polish guys from Gameberg during WCG and stuff. It really does help a lot. As we are going to see that bomb being pushed there. Special just managing to dodge out of the way of Genja, and yeah, still at top. We may just see the push coming in now. Diamonds is going to go very low, dodges away to that ward. Darian is going to come back around, and that should be a very safe lease in. Great play from Diamonds as Darian gets stunned up. That'll stop him putting too much pressure on Rainman. Meanwhile, back to peak at the bottom. Chaos is alone in that lane. We did see Special go low earlier on, so he's going to have to go. And Genja trying to keep these turret alive for as long as possible to get that CS in a safe position, whilst not being pushed too far in the lane. Actually, he's going to move in now on towards Chaos, and he possibly fancy this one again. We did see the slow coming down. This turret is actually going to go down as well. Shivana has destroyed up top, and there is a possible kill here onto Rainman as well in that top area. Let's quickly go back down bottom. Nope, not going to happen there either. But that's another one for Moscow 5. That's 8-2. Oh, in the middle, there's a flash ulti from Alex. Has he got the damage to finish it off? Nice flash from Reginald, who's going to try and turn things around. But he's not got the health to stay anywhere near that fight, and will have to back away. Fast and furious action, that's what I like to see.
Yeah, the tower has gone down bottom, the tower's also gone down top. You can see Shivana is on that tower, pushing it away. Genja's been playing it brilliantly down the bottom. He's completely zoned out at KX for the last sort of couple of minutes down the bottom here. Obviously took him down, got that single kill, and really he's just pushed it, kept the minions at the turret, not bothered taking the turret down, just pushed on past the minions and pushed the tower and just completely keeping them away from any CS at all. So M5 really pushing the power, and there it is. That is the bottom inner turret taken down. Darian did have the help with Diamonds, and we saw him on it. It was full health just a couple of seconds ago, going straight round there. Oh, Genja might get caught out. Reginald coming round onto him at the moment. Do they have the crescendo? No, they're not going to use it. Genja flashing nicely through there, puts the slow across Reginald, very nice, and just escapes no problem at all. 8-2 the kills, 3-0 in towers, 2-0 in dragons. Moscow 5 starting to look very strong, but we are starting to move to the mid game. It's been a long lane phase, I feel. TSM at the moment are going to have to really pull something out, I feel, to try and drag the way back into this. But a good big team fight is definitely possible. But at the moment, Alex has really been positioning himself brilliantly. Genji's starting to get the better of Chaos down the bottom, and Siobhan has just been all over the map.
Yeah, Shyvana is 3-0-3 and Cogmore 4-0-1 as well, which is going to be a big impact moving forward in this one. Already BF Sword, Phantom Dancer already done, Wriggle's Lantern finish as well for Cogmore. Meanwhile, Graves with Infinity Edge finish plus Double Doran's Blade and that Vampiric Scepters. We are seeing Moscow 5 starting to group up around this middle, and they're going to go in for it. They pulled Genja out though. There goes the ulti across as well, and that was a very nice one. Baited into that one completely was Genja, and just as I was talking up his score, of course he goes and dies.
And just in time for Dragon as well, so very nicely timed there. The odd one using a flash ulti to pull him back, which is something you often see, certainly from a Sona maybe now and again, but very nicely played. It probably felt quite good as well, because Genja's definitely been having the better of it. I actually felt a little bit of pity for him. You see him dragged in towards the tower, and 5 angry Americans pulling the Russian in towards them. That mid tower though is very low, just 73 hit points. That will get taken down by minions any second, but Darian taking the blue ward here, blue buff, and the odd one just puts it the buff to the ward down and goes, did he manage to smite it? Don't think he managed to get it in time, and he will walk away from that. So that's the third time Shyvana's taken it. We've got pings on Baron here. 25 minutes. Moscow 5 are going for it. Let's have a quick look towards the vision. There is no view of it at the moment. You can see now they come towards it. They can see them on Baron. And Moscow 5 are going to have TSM coming round. They are coming in drips and drabs, though. Moscow 5 are going to back away from this one. They do manage to plant. They've caught the odd one and Rayman in amongst the ulti there. The odd one's being targeted. He's going to go down very quickly to Daria, and the rest of TSM now starting to group up. Chaos is just down south, though, and they are going to go back in for that Baron. Have they got enough to 4v5 it? Bearing in mind that Alex's ulti has just been used up by Galio there. The Rayman's going to know it. He goes in, gets the stun down. Actually, they're getting a lot of damage on towards Alex here. They're going to go around. Will he manage to take him down? Yes, they will. Alex goes down. Moscow 5 pick up the Baron in amongst all that. Reginald being targeted this time around. Tarek does go down. I think Reginald might go down to the Ignite. He does have health ticking away. Genja does manage to get the kill on Rayman as well. Chaos is surely going to get taken down in amongst all that. Reginald did survive up the top there. Very, very low. 26 hit points. Genja going looking for him. Will he just ulti in towards that bush? Oh, he will. He's going to come round. Pops the ulti on towards Genja. He manages to take Genja down. Now he needs to juke away from this. I think Kogma's going to take him down. Yes, he will. Very nicely played. Mid turret goes down. Now the odd one on Darian in the mid turret there. The odd one's going to have to back away from this one. He doesn't have enough to deal with a heavily farmed Shyvana. Shyvana's going to come down, tries to bait him in towards Chaos there, but I think he's going to 2v1 them. Yes, he is. He's going to take Chaos down. He's going for the odd one as well. I think he might be able to get him. No, he's had to back away because X Special came to save the day, but Shyvana, Darian there, 2v1 in TSM.
Absolutely incredible stuff in this game, and you know, Darian doesn't even need to counter jungle when he's getting kills like that and stealing all the buffs away anyway from that. It's now a 12-6 scoreline, 7k is the difference. That Baron buff is still alive on how many of them? I think it's just 2. Yeah, it'd be Diamonds and Darian, Shyvana and Lee Sin, the 2 that managed to stay alive with that Baron buff on them. Alex just going to take himself the blue. In terms of turrets, 4-0. That's a great start for Moscow 5 in this. We're 27-minute mark. We said at the beginning of it, and you could see by the edgy way that the players are playing, we can expect maybe a longer game to happen in this first one of the best of 3, and it seems like it's headed that way as well. But Moscow 5 definitely have an advantage at this point.
They do, and you can just see, have a look down the bottom. See, they really have stacked out the items now, using that gold advantage, 6k gold advantage across the board for towers. Obviously the Baron as well, which is going to stack up that gold. Many dragons in amongst there, and pretty much camping out the blue buff up the top as well. So Darian has been doing a fantastic job. Remember, you can vote for these guys. MVP, we have potentially another 2 matches after this one, so don't jump the gun. I'm not too sure of the cut-off time of MVP. Darian's in there, Diamonds is in there, as well as Alex, and of course we've got Chaos and Reginald. Actually, no, Reginald isn't in there. Quite surprised by that one. The odd one and X Special for TSM. So pretty much it is these 2 teams that have been utterly dominant, which is why you don't really see anyone from any other team in there. And for me, Darian has just been phenomenal. I wasn't sure how it was going to work out when Gangplank got banned, but they pull out their Lee Sin Shyvana combo and just say, yeah, you know, you can ban one hero, we'll just use another.
And we are seeing them trying to push this bottom lane a bit. There's going to be a big wave of minions fall from TSM, moving safely, not through the jungle. We should probably add at that point as well to try and get away from it. I see Darian, he's going to try and flash away. There's the ulti across, and they manage to pull one in there. Tariq goes down. Ulti from Alex is going to catch a couple of them. Odd one goes low. There goes the ulti from Darian as well. He's in the pack here. He's got 4 guys around him. X-Special's going to drop as well. Rainman is going to fall. We did see Shyvana finally going down to Reginald in amongst everything. However, surely they're going to have this one. Alex has got the power to tank that turret, and they are going to take down all 5. There is the ace, and I could hear in my headphones some cheering
I can
from
hear
out there in the hall.
A definite crowd cheer from the Ukrainian fan base, obviously cheering on their Russian comrades. And at the moment, Moscow 5 are looking incredible. 17-8 up. They are tanking this turret, which he can do obviously quite easily. Obviously Diamond's just using the shield there as well to help him out, assist him. They may even get this inhibitor down before the rest of TSM spawn. We only have the odd one and X-Special up, so really no damage there whatsoever, and making full use of, I would say, the Baron buff, but none of the guys alive still have that Baron buff. It was just a incredible tower dive as well, you know, tanking on towards that turret, and really they had people who were tanky enough to do it. I wasn't too sure when they went for them on the turret. I thought they maybe made a mistake, but TSM got dropped down one by one. Superb targeting, see a hero, kill a hero.
Best quote, I think, of the entire tournament there. We didn't talk about it, actually, but I really liked the way that Alex interacted with the crowd. That I don't remember when I've ever seen that from a player, to be honest. That's a cool thing to see. Here is the blue buff, and was it stolen? No, Reginald got it.
Very nearly, though. So, 39k to 48k. It's you don't need to be a mathematician to realise that's a difference. They're just going to go pick up Dragon buff now. It's not a buff, it's just a gold, an experience, which at 48k, every little helps, I guess. As
Daria is Moscow 5's Dragon buff.
Yeah, he is the Dragon
717, Wit's End. He's got a Phage in there, Warmogs, which is around about 2/3 full, and he's got Atma's already finished as well.
And an 824 Cogmore as well. It's just, you know, who do you ban against these guys? They've targeted at Gangplank. Everybody thought it was Gangplank. Okay, take him out of the picture. They've kept Cogmore. Do you ban Cogmore? I don't know. I've seen Moscow 5 playing Revive Ash. I really don't know what you'd ban. That was against SK in the knockout stages for this tournament, and they were just incredible. You know, I'm not too sure if there's too much you can target ban against them. I think that's one of the main things. I mean, a lot of people have said they've got very regimented play. Actually, what they do is pretty easy to predict. But still, nobody, you know, of all these top teams,
anything against it.
They know what they're doing, but they can't seem to be able to stop it.
Something is in the water in Russia these days for League of Legends. But Moscow 5, as you said, they're looking unstoppable again at this stage of the game. It is a longer one, though, 32 minutes. I'm not sure exactly what Moscow 5's longest game has been in this tournament, but I guess this is maybe going to be it by the time we get towards the end. But this middle turret is going to go down. Are Moscow 5 going to continue to push it up? And look at the ward coverage as well, Demon. We saw it yesterday, actually, from TSM in their semi-final against Dignitas. It was pretty much this exact situation in the top area of the jungle, but it's in the bottom there as well. They've got vision, and it's just so good from Moscow 5. You don't really see anything wrong with their play.
Yeah, and TSM, you know you're up against it when you've got literally one ward out, well, 2 wards, I guess. You've got one against the wall there and another against the ward there, but yeah, like you say, it is huge ward coverage. They have complete control, and they're just waiting for that Baron to spawn now. TSM, I'm not too sure whether they're going to be how to react to this one. They are too far away on the map.
Can't do anything.
Yeah, that will be going down. Look at it. Look at the speed it's going down. That is just going to be gone before TSM even flinch. I just don't think it's one of those times where you just think, okay, right, we need to look at what they're doing during this break and just discuss it, or maybe pull out this top secret strat, which they apparently have.
Is there one?
I'm not too sure. Even if there is one, would it work in this situation? That's the question. And is it a bit too ballsy to pull out a strat that maybe you've tried to keep secret against, you know, basically a do or die move in a grand final in Kiev?
We're going to find out in this next game.
I think it's AP looks, by the way. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I hope we see something a little bit different because, by the way things have gone here, Moscow 5 have been the better team. Everything's gone right for them. Actually, they're going to push in now onto this turret. Are they going to keep going through? You can see Cogmore just trying to knock as many hit points as he can from the guys around that turret. Minions will be cleared out. By the way, down at the bottom side of the map, TSM just realizing, I think, that the super minions were starting to close in. They did see Graves go back, so when they see that Graves is not exactly with the team on this next minion wave, yeah, nicely read from Chaos, he's going to come straight back into things. But I feel that Moscow 5 are full of confidence. They're going to go in. Odd One tried to pull one in. The counter flash came in, actually. A counter-strike term coming in there, but that's exactly what happened. We are going to see ulti from Alex. Actually goes down in the midst of things, especially as the only man that's going to survive this one for now. Actually, Chaos has still got his flash up, gets away. Special goes down. Chaos is going to die, surely. Shyvana, yep, there we go, right on the fountain. And Moscow 5 get a round of applause here again from the audience at the Cybersport Arena. They are going to finish this turret. They surely are not even going to bother with that inhibitor. I think they're going to push straight in. 30 seconds for most of the TSM team, 15 seconds for Odd One, but he's not going to be able to really do anything to stop this one going on. Okay, so the inhibitor down at the bottom spawned. which stopped it.
But they've reacted to that and taken it down, and that will be 1-0 to Moscow 5. The question is, can Team SoloMid react to this? Can they possibly do anything about it? You know, they started off so strongly. They really actually looked like they had it pretty well worked out. You know, they had a lot of counter jungling of their own. They were looking around. They managed to dodge any gank attempts. Obviously, they had the ward down the tri-bush there. They wasn't too sure. You know, managing to get out of it down the bottom. Chaos and Special, they managed to avoid any damage. But really, the problem started when Darian started that invade. He started off, he got the wolves twice, went back, pushed the lane, got the wolves, came back, and by the time all that happened, they had the timing perfectly worked out. For blue buff's now going to spawn, Alex comes across, Jungler came across as well, and they just absolutely had it under control. So, do they ban Shyvana out? Yes, I think they will.
Yes.
Now, they've been... I think Karthus was banned again in this game. Now, Alex actually was and is a fantastic Karthus player, which is kind of why they're going for it. But are they going to have to get to the situation and go, we might actually have to allow him... Yeah, we might have to target Gangplank and Shyvana and maybe free up somebody else. But are Moscow 5 going to pull something else out? Like, obviously, like they have with Lee Sin. They, you know... pulling out them two, they've just completely caught them off the guard. So Team SoloMid are going to have to think of something here, Joe. I'm not too sure what it is.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that Team SoloMid really know what it is. I hope from their sake, so that, you know, they come out of this one, we get to have a third map. But we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll be starting with match 2 between TSM and the 1-0 up Moscow 5.
The Intel Extreme Masters is powered by
So welcome back then to the Intel Extreme Masters Global Challenge here in Kiev, Ukraine. And we've just seen Moscow 5. They're not so far away from being the home team here, actually. The supporters are all with Moscow 5, that you can believe. They're going to have a couple of minutes break, I guess, on the stage, but what a fantastic first game from Moscow 5. Actually, I just loaded up a couple of forums, Reddit, League of Legends forums, and pretty much all the titles like, oh my god, or when are these guys going to learn to ban Shyvana, and stuff like that. Yeah, the Shyvana was just too strong. Too strong.
Very strong indeed. I mean, what do they counter against it? You can see the admins having a chat there, the players having a good talk about what are they going to do. Moscow 5 just like, they're just relaxed. Look at them. They're not even talking. They're just like, yeah, we got this covered, don't worry. Darian there just on the edge of your screen has just been incredible throughout this tournament. Genja sat next to him was just phenomenal as well. The two Kog'Maw and Shyvana players in the last game, they really were absolutely on fire. I really don't know what they're going to do to react against them. And of course, Darian is the worst because he completely trolled them. He completely wound up Reginald. Reginald is so angry right now, I've no doubt. He's probably exploding, thinking, oh my God, guys, or bros, I guess he'd be saying, what are we going to do? We need to sort this out. We need to get the win because if they lose to these, I don't know what they're going to do. I think it's like all streams shut down. We are in full boot camp mode for the next 2 months until we get to the finals. I just don't know. Look at that, and you can see that's a pretty serious couple of people there having to work out strats. He's having to discuss the odd ones. It looks like he's burning brain cells as he looks at that screen intently. It's like he wants to burn through it. It's like, why did we just lose that one? Rayman actually looks pretty chilled at the back there, considering it was his lane that Darian was running around in. I'm not too sure whether we will see Aurelia again. Maybe he'll even switch back to Teemo. Who knows? I mean, Freak will probably explode if we do. We'll probably see one girly scream coming from the arena if it happens. Expressful looking... Oh, he's looking pretty down. He's just looking pretty sad, Panda there. But they didn't actually do too bad bottom lane. It wasn't only until really after I think the first or second dragon when things started to go south. Obviously Chaos got caught out and then really they just got pushed completely from then on in. But that's a Moscow 5 team that are looking and feeling very confident, playing very confident. We don't have Alex there at the moment, so I guess it's Alex that's away from his computer. But Joe, I mean, We've seen a lot of tournaments. You've been at pretty much every single stop. You have been at every single stop, really, including the DreamHack finals. Have you seen anyone looking so confident? I think back to CLG at Gamescom, Fnatic maybe at New York, but really these guys are looking unstoppable at the moment.
Yeah, but up until, we've seen that in this tournament format that one team wins their group and seems to be dominating.
Looks so strong.
However, you've not seen them then do the exact same in the semi-finals and then the first game of the grand final as well. At this point, it looks like Moscow 5 are the best we've ever seen. And no one can seemingly touch them.
But it's like a bandwagon, I guess. Everybody, like Dignitas had that feel after IPL. Like you say, Fnatic have had it, certainly after DreamHack, and then they turned up in New York. And SK and Fnatic were looking incredible, and then Fnatic just so strong. Are still actually the only team that's won 2 tournaments, major tournaments.
Yeah.
Now, we have obviously Sao Paulo coming up. That's going to be just StarCraft. So the LoL players are just focused now on March. What's going to happen? We saw Ocelot said even after his interview, it went wrong. It didn't quite work out here, but we're just going to practice 12 hours a day until we get to that grand final at CBIT. And I guess there's quite a few teams out there, maybe ones that haven't attended this. I'm thinking CLG, maybe the US team, a couple of the Chinese teams as well. Obviously, they're going to be in attendance that are going to be watching this and thinking, right, okay, we know what they're going to do. We know how to play against it, because everybody seemingly knows how to play against it, but they have to put it into practice. And that's probably what TSM are maybe lacking at the moment. They've not had time to practice against this strategy, and they're kind of having to work it out as they play.
Yeah, and that's the thing with having those dynamic strategies. You can pull something a little bit different out here and there in the tournament to really throw your next opponents off.
A gimmick,
yeah. Those gimmicks really, really do work because everyone's talking about them. Then that's all they're thinking about when you pull off something really random and something, or maybe not even just really random, but something a little bit different to the normal. Then everyone's thinking, they're probably going to do that against us. How do we counter this and this and this? And then they're not that really ready and focused on what's actually going to happen in the game. We actually have all 10 players in there now. We're just waiting for the admins to give us the get-go.
Yeah,
but as we move towards these bans, more importantly, to start off with, what are they going to go for? Because do they get rid of Gangplank? Do they now think we can't have that Shyvana running around? That leaves then... how are they going to counter Alex? Where are they going to do that? They've got a lot of areas to focus on with these bans, and they've got to get them right.
Yeah, and you know, to go back to say some of the posters, Jat's obviously done a post. He did one on yesterday, and he's, you know, he used to be former jungler for Dignitas. He's got a lot of insight. Would join us for commentary at World Cyber Games, and you know, he was pointing out that actually they're pretty formulaic in what they do. It's just a case of trying to counter it, and nobody so far seems to have figured out exactly how to counter it. Can you counterban it? I'm not too sure you can, you know. I think they've got a few changes. We saw it there, you know, took Gangplank out of the picture. Yes, there was no invade 1 minute 40. It was very much a stalemate. They all moved in a 5 because they were so tense for it. But it eventually went back to that formulaic mode. Obviously, like we say, Darien invading. So they have to keep control of Darien, whether they're warding up the river, whether they're warding up the blue. They've just got to keep control of him. They've got to know where he is on the map, because he's the one that's been really causing the issues for them and freeing up. And the fact that Diamonds has been doing such a fantastic job as well for Moscow 5, you know, to keep a track of effectively 2 junglers, 2 invades constantly happening. It's a pretty tricky thing. So, and then obviously it's down to Reginald. Do I go deal with Diamonds, or do I go up top and deal with Darien? Which one do I cover off? And I guess the odd one, you know, there's a lot of pressure on him here. He's like been known as one of the top junglers in the world, and he's got a lot to work against.
And there's a theory as well, do you just try and copy it? And just try and do it better?
Maybe, that's a possibility, but can you do it better when a team's practiced for a week solid at the event? They're at the venue, they know the people here, this is why they've got a big crowd cheering them. We are going into the picks and bans anyway, so Rise and Gangplank taken straight out, identical to the last time. Ramos and LeBlanc also identical to Moscow 5. Will they go for Shyvana? No, they're going to go for Galio. So Shyvana is available again, so TSM, unless TSM pick it up as first pick. Now, Ocelot said earlier on this morning, he was like, now I understand it, I get it. We practiced overnight, we played with Shyvana, doing pretty much their strat, and he said it is so fast to do it. They have taken Sona's first pick. Are we going to see Shyvana picked up straight away? Carter's actually banned out by Moscow 5 this time, so they were leaving it available. So obviously maybe Reginald wants to pick. No, I'm not too sure. Maybe that was his super secret AP. I doubt it. And
Shyvana.
Shock horror, Shyvana is looking like it's going to be the first pick from Moscow 5. And you know what?
If they log this in and Moscow 5 have another great Shyvana game,
everyone's just going to say,
like,
hello? Yeah, why? The internet people of the world watching the stream will be screaming.
Nunu, they left it open this time. That was the change.
So Nunu support. Well, we saw Chaos and X-Special down the bottom actually dismantling a Nunu support earlier on with Dignitas in the semi-finals. I'm not too sure whether they're going to allow that. We'll see. Lee Sin being picked up as well, so will that be the jungler? I would guess it will be the odd one in the jungle on Lee Sin. Wants to be a bit more aggressive, maybe go for those level 2, 3 ganks. We'll see and see. And of course Cassiopeia being picked up, so he's going to be expected to be countering, taking them wraiths as much as possible. Moscow 5, what are they going to go with? It's Mordekaiser in mid again. We saw Mordekaiser in the semi-final, and it was I guess the Brazilian LoL players around the world will be doing a hue as they see it coming in there. And it's going to be actually Aurelia up the top, locked in. So how are they going to counter? You could have a Riven counter, but I don't think I've seen TSM using Riven a great deal. So I'd be kind of surprised. What?
Timo!
It could be Timo, and actually it was Timo versus
Aurelia.
Aurelia.
Timo Aurelia last in the semi-final was the choice for Rainman. Obviously Cassiopeia was locked in earlier, so you know Reginald sticking to the Snake Lady for a lot of this one. Will they go for Timo? To be honest, he was really good. Oh, Tryndamere.
Hyper carry up the top. So this, well, if it works out, it could be epic, because TSM have the support of it's going to be the X Special, obviously, on Sona. They also have the support of the buff that you get from Severe's ulti, which would really send Rayman into complete hyper mode on Tryndamere. Of course, it's going to be Cogmore being picked again by Moscow 5. Moscow 5 been sticking to Cogmore pretty much throughout the knockout stages. Didn't use him in the groups from what I can remember. I'm trying to think whether against authorities or against the Cogmore. I believe they were.
Yeah, that was the one where we saw Genja playing Cogmore and just battering them from half a map away.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, it's a It's a couple of interesting teams. I can see what TSM are playing at there. They can see what they're aiming at. The question is, they kind of need to get Tryndamere fed enough to get to that stage of the game where they can just roll through them, which we did see in the 3rd, 4th place playoff. Obviously, you were covering Counter-Strike at the time.
Yep.
The 3rd, 4th place playoff, SK had Kevin up the top on Tryndamere against a dunk strat, I think they called it, which was Leona, Jarvan, and Pantheon in the jungle. So which was basically what Curse Gaming used. I think it might even be in the Kiev qualifiers, what they used to actually qualify for this tournament.
Yeah.
No, that's a lie, because Curse came second, didn't they? It was Goose that used it.
Goose.
I think, yes. I'm pretty sure it was a picture of a goose. The ones that did properly qualify but couldn't make it, unfortunately, because of someone's mother. Which I still would have come up with a better excuse for that one. I would be definitely hiding from the internet if that came out. But, Joe, what do we think? We've just seen TSM. They held it together well against Moscow 5. And Mordekaiser last time invaded against SK with Mordecai, so he was invading a lot. He was taking the raids. Now we've seen Reginald doing the same thing. So I think these are two actually pretty much were countering each other out in the last game. A couple of times they caught each other out. It's going to be heavily down to whether Darian at the top can invade as much as he was on Irelia. We have Shyvana, of course. Diamond's very quick. We know he's going to be very quick. But the odd one on Lee Sin this time around as well could also be very quick in attack. I have no idea. I really don't. I think TSM may take this one. I think we could see a 3rd map.
I think that Tryndamere is going to be pretty much the be-all and end-all when it comes to how TSM are going to do in this game. They need him to get that early feed to stay safe, maybe more importantly as well. And I guess that's what Moscow 5 are going to aim for, getting Shyvana around as quickly as possible and doing some real heavy damage to force Tryndamere back as often as they possibly can. But TSM, they obviously feel some confidence in this setup that they're coming in there. This is a grand final, and you don't try new stuff that generally in grand finals. That's not usually the place to do it unless you're in a real desperate situation. You could maybe argue that TSM are in a desperate situation after the way Moscow 5 flipped them over in the first game.
Singed style. Your favourite hero as well.
My favourite.
So I really don't know what to expect from this one. We've got a couple of clairvoyances from the two teams. Let's see how the invade starts off between these two as well, because I just don't know. I mean, that 1 minute 40 time, we have so many invades, but we'll get underway for Team SoloMid versus Moscow 5.
So, quick rundown of the teams then, just in case you missed the first game, you missed a cracker, and you shouldn't go anywhere for this one. For TSM, Chaos on Sivir, Xpecial on Sona, Reginald on Cassiopeia, Odd One on Lee Sin, and Rainman on Tryndamere. Over on the other side, we have Alex as Mordekaiser, Genja on Kog'Maw, Gosu Pepper on Nunu, and Diamonds with Shyvana, and finally Darian with Irelia. It doesn't look like we're going to see too much action actually from this Moscow 5 setup. They're spread, you know, the 5 across the map, holding the defensive line. It's the Arsenal back 4 offside trap that they've got going on here. But we are going to see TSM moving into the jungle over on the other side. Diamonds is going to run himself away there as quickly as he possibly can. Doesn't want to end up having any trouble. And I assume that TSM are going to be getting wards down here somewhere there or thereabouts. There are 2 wards with Xpecial.
There's an instant counter, so they've seen that TSM were at the top there, and immediately Moscow 5 reacted and went straight in towards TSM's jungle. However, TSM haven't actually gone for it. They're funneling the way around. I'm not too sure if they'd have got vision of them there. I guess I should have switched to vision cam. Now the pings go down. They've realised it. They're going to go straight forward towards Darian there. Managed to actually put the poison down on him, but Darian is the target. They managed to get the poison dot. That's going to be the severe actually all to go. So Boomerang play going straight across them there. I think he's going to flash through this one. The ignite will not finish him off. Oh, but a Chaos has flashed through as well. Will manage to get the kill. Very nicely played. Back towards the mid there. And first blood going to Chaos. He's going to get the exhaust down on Gosu Pepper. He wants to finish off Nunu as well. Nunu's not really going to be able to walk away from this one. He's going to pass 4 members of TSM, and that will be a second kill as well. TSM having the dream start they wanted. They've got their AD carry with the first kill, and they've got Tryndamere with the first kill. Joe, that went brilliantly.
And that's what I was talking about. You know, they've got to get off to a good start. And it was, for me, a slightly risky decision. It made sense that Moscow 5 would go in for that. instant counter jungle as well. Ooh, down at bottom, we are going to see the pressure coming in onto Genja. Will Chaos be able to finish him off? Special will come around as well. Boomerang Blade, not quite got the range that they needed. But yeah, you know, Moscow 5 went down. I think the real problem in amongst that one, Demon, was that Alex didn't quite see them coming back. And we've got blue buff on Reginald as he hits level 2. That's going to make him very, very hard to deal with for Mordor in middle.
Well, it's what he needs against Mord in mid. It's like, how do you counter Mord in mid? You have to have blue buff, and which is obviously why they've picked Lee Sin, because Lee Sin doesn't need that blue buff. Genji we can still very low down the bottom there, of course, doesn't have any sustain, doesn't have any heals coming in from Gosu Pepper, apart from that single heal spell that Genji actually has on him, hasn't used it, doesn't need to use it, especially you can see trying to get in his face every second. Boomerang Blade going across, just about missing, skimming past him, and back in the middle, Reginald's going to have all the mana he likes. He can just farm like crazy now and try and keep away, and you can see immediately he's putting pressure on towards Mordecai, and that's what you got to do. You got to keep that armor down and keep pressuring him. Shyvana down bottom is about to leap through. Ward spotted, and he's going to pull back. Joe, this is going to be another tense one.
It is a tense one, and you know, it's obviously the perfect start for TSM, but it doesn't mean by any stretch of the imagination. I know there'll definitely be a lot of new people tuning in for this grand final with the hype that it's received within the community that have not watched games at this level before. That doesn't mean that this one is over. Don't think that by any stretch of the imagination, no. The way that Moscow 5 have been playing. However, bottom lane, TSM are doing very well. We mentioned that, you know, they've managed to do really well against these new support bottom lanes quite often. In fact, they've been pushing this lane already. It helps that Chaos is going to have the first blood in amongst that by the time he goes home. In fact, he's almost at 1,000 gold already.
Yeah, the odd one picking up the red buff, so remember, no invades, which is what we've seen. Genja getting poked again there, and I think Chaos is weighing up the thought of putting a boomerang blade across him there. We do have Shyvana hanging around in mid at the moment. I think Reginald's got a good control on Mordekaiser this time around, not like Dignitas managed to. Puts the poison and slowdown on towards Diamonds, actually put a load of damage down as well. Not a great deal that Mordekaiser could do to help. Reginald being very aggressive, of course. What he has to do with that blue, he's going to continue pushing on there. Flashing through, tries to go for Mordekaiser, Ignite goes down, it will be a finish, and Reginald going strong, taking down the Wraiths as well. Diamond's not too sure whether he can do anything about it, and Reginald really is pushing that presence. So great work between the fact that Odd One picked up that late Lee Sin early, knew damn well didn't need the blue buff, expected Mordekaiser, I think, personally, because we saw Mordekaiser earlier in the tournament, and he has just pushed his advantage with that blue buff superbly.
Yeah, and there's this... Don't forget this whole personal thing in the middle lane as well between Alex and Reginald. We saw them in those pre-interviews there having confidence talk, let's say, and for Reginald, after TSM getting rolled over in that last game, that was a really important thing for him to do, to show Alex, you know, you've got to respect me, mate. I am not bad at all. And that was really, really great play. Actually, Gosu Pepper just going up there, getting a ward down in front of Dragon. We've seen Sivir go home. What's she coming back with? Double Doran's Blade, plus a little bit extra as well, wards and health pots, what have you. Meanwhile, Mordekaiser is waiting on the Wraiths to spawn before he heads back off into that lane against Reginald, who is currently sporting triple Doran's Ring, plus the boots, then almost up at 100 AP already at the start.
Yeah, we can see Tryndamere is going back. He's got around about 1,200 gold, 1,300 gold on him. And like you say, Kirks has just returned to lane, as has Cogmore. Cogmore had to buy another stack of health pots because he's just got no sustain with him, no help. So he's having to stack up those health pots in the meantime. Reginald, of course, picking up that kill is going to be a huge advantage against Mordekaiser. He's got the 3 Doran split rings on him there, so he's just going to be completely pressuring Alex. So Alex is going to really struggle in mid. The worst thing you can do in lane is lose out to your opposite number, especially really without help, which he had no help at all. And you can see Mordekaiser can't really get near these mobs now. So Reginald really going to continue pushing out. And if anyone knows how to continually pressure once you get that advantage, it is going to be Reggie. So Chaos at the moment is going to try and do the exact same thing to Genja down the bottom here. Remember, always going to get caught out, has to spell shield up, eats the Ice Blast there. Special also coming across to try and put a bit of pressure down him. Shyvana, though, in the meantime, coming around the backside of Reginald. Ulti coming down from Alex. Alex has managed to put it down. Diamonds tries to come across. Reggie puts the ulti back towards Mordekaiser, and he's going to get help out from the odd one. I'm not too sure if it's enough. That ticking down. The Mordekaiser ulti has finished. He needs to just avoid any damage at all, and Reggie has managed to escape that one. Very nicely played, and really a good gank from Moscow 5. Completely would have been successful had the odd one not been there to support from the jungle. This is so close.
So close, but he's still going in the favour of TSM.
Oh, he's got a boomerang blade down the bottom. Chaos there, they were both porting away on the edge bush there. There is a ward, TSM there. He waited till it literally ticked a couple of seconds and they went, no. Just boomerang blade across them.
Well, yeah, that last kill, Reginald, he actually missed the ultimate onto Shyvana, right? I think it maybe just got off to the wrong side of him or whatever. He would only need one siphon from Mordekaiser, I think, to have taken Reggie down, like, over the top of the wall as well. So, really, really close stuff. And, well, it's going the way of TSM, which they can be thankful for at the start of this. Reggie 1-0-2, Severe 1-0-0, Trinamir 1-0-0. So far, so good for the Americans, and that's what they need to have, because if they lose this one, Moscow 5 are champions.
There's nothing greater than a best of 3 going all the way as well, and that is what TSM will have to do. But we are only 8 minutes into this game, so let's not get ahead of ourselves as Reginald pulls those wraiths. And we know Mordekaiser can see him doing it and just doesn't feel there's a great deal that he can do about it. So Mordekaiser's now going back to buy. Meanwhile, at the top, Rayman's also having quite a bit of success.
Down on sorry, they actually put the ulti down there across Cogmore and Pepper, which didn't quite work out. Actually, Special almost fell in amongst that one. Sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay. When there's issues around the map, I do not want to miss the action, as has happened only twice in this tournament. I'd like to point out to the internet listeners that do like to make a point of these things. But KX down the bottom, so let's have a look between the two. 63 to 44 CS. That's quite a sizable advantage, certainly not unattainable, and they can definitely come back from it. M5 looking like they're actually possibly positioning. Ghostly Pepper is just going to put the ward down and back away from that one. Clairvoyance did go down on Dragon. We are 9.5 minutes into it, so it's entirely possible, but I think the problem is bottom lane is being won by TSM, middle lane is being won by TSM. Top lane is pretty even between the two. 72 CS to 61. Slight advantage for Darian again. Darian hasn't had the chance to invade anywhere at the moment, though. So it's effectively working because it's keeping him in lane. But that's why we've not seen an early Dragon at all from Moscow 5. Going to be interesting to see Mordekaiser when he actually goes back. He has got that Hextech gun revolver now, so building up towards possible Will of Ancient. I'm not too sure what he's going to go towards. He could definitely switch it, and knowing Moscow 5, they'll probably have something completely strange in their strat builds. But they are starting to position in the way that they look like they're possibly. Yeah, there's going to be a Dragon. Definitely Dragon coming, Joe.
Yeah, definitely. Shyvana's coming down there.
Backs away.
Nunu is thinking about it as well. Maybe Shyvana will just go down. There we go. Pink ward. And that's going to clear out the vision that TSM had around the Dragon area. And will that be the signal for Moscow 5? Irelia is coming down from the top. Actually, Trinity is all alone up there. So this would be a 5-on-4 fight. Genja just trying to force Chaos away. That was a nice shield put up there by Chaos just to keep himself going. Another ward taken out using the pink wards by Moscow 5. And they are going to start this one off. Reginald is down there. He's got blue buff as well, so can spam into this area. They're focusing first on Gosu Pepper. We are going to see Darian come diving out. Here comes the ulti from Diamonds across them as well. There was the ulti there from Mordekaiser onto X Special as well. The first kill did come down as that boomerang blade almost catching Nunu out. And well, TSM, they've picked up the kill. He was onto Diamonds, and they're going to try and run away from this one. Gosu Pepper actually has been chasing here as well, as Rainman has pushed that top turret. Great play from TSM to get a kill from a 4-on-5, plus get the turret kill up top.
Yeah, and it was just like the first game where Chaos and Genja had kind of like split apart. The AD stayed down the bottom for as long as he could, and then when the fight all started, he was actually out of position, so he suddenly realised, I can't really get into this. He had to to get involved, had to try and wake his way around, so he wasn't very effective during the fight. And obviously, of course, during all that, Tryndamere up the top, the Rayman was just farming all the way through that. But Chaos, yeah, managing to pick up a kill. Very unlucky not to get Gosu Pepper, because he was down to 60 health there. I think if the Boomerang Blade had passed the second time through, it would have got that kill. So they've continued farming.
Middle, they're actually pushing in here onto Mordekaiser as well. Odd One, they can't quite get in there. Odd One's Q just missing out. Reginald was forced fairly low. Tryndamere's hanging in there as well. They're going to be stacking up again for this Dragon. Irelia is alone up top, and they may just exchange positions completely, actually. Obviously, Rainman in that last Dragon fight took down the top turret. It's already been heavily started by TSM. Bottom lane for Moscow 5 is nowhere near, and they're going to have to try and let this one go. Diamonds actually gets himself exhausted. Ignite is in there as well. This is a dead Diamonds. Odd One is going to pick that one up, and that is 5-0 in the kills for TSM.
And you know what? I can actually hear cheering. I'm not sure if that's just Riot cheering out the front there or not. Keeping their American counterparts could just be freak. But, you know, that was a great kill. And Shyvana was actually just trying to get in, maybe try and get the smite on there, but obviously didn't quite work out before them. And they've not skipped a beat at all. Reginald went up towards the top, obviously to prevent Darian from taking down that tower. Has actually gone back to buy, so now he's got the Hextech Revolver to go with those triple Doran's rings he had earlier on. Mordekaiser has completed the Will of the Ancients now, as suspected, but Tryndamere now taking the red buff and has it and says thank you very much. So counter jungling from the Rainman onto Moscow 5 and say, you know what, I'm going to take all your buffs this time. The Odd One will probably give this blue buff across to Cassiopeia, I guess. Yes, Reginald is now moving towards that. Or the expression was maybe being caught out of position here, but Genja actually using that slow and missing it. You can see Mordekaiser was coming down to try and cut them off. Oh, he's been caught out of position still. He's not too sure whether to go north or south. Pings go down. Clairvoyance went down, but he managed to dodge out of the way of it, and Minions taking down the bottom turret. So TSM now have top and bottom. They have the double lane advantage, as well as taking the first Dragon. TSM looking strong, 5k up in gold, really in a very good position early on.
Yeah, and again we are seeing Mordekaiser there in middle. He's not got too much to stick around this turret, to be quite honest with you. If Reginald decides to go a bit more offensive, that could go a bit pear-shaped for Alex in middle. And again, Reginald pushing so strong. Obviously, the outer turrets are down for both players. Up at top, Rainman and Darian just exchanged a little bit there, but we will see this middle turret go down. Diamonds needs to be careful not to get caught out of position. The Clairvoyance did go down. Reginald not quite got the vision to act too much on that one, and there goes the middle turret, finally dealt with by TSM. They are currently 3-0 up with the turret kills, 5-0 in champion kills, and around about 6.5k in gold. So far, so good for TSM, and you know, I hope that they win this one in a way, because I want to see game number 3.
We won a third game, exactly. So TSM, we talked about obviously Moscow 5 being a little bit formulaic. TSM, they'd love to take out those front 3 towers, easy for me to say. Irelia, though, is continuing to push the top here. Does have Tryndamere coming up behind him. He's teleporting now. I think Tryndamere might get to him just before he does. Will spin in. Yes, he will. He manages to get the damage on him. Don't think he's really going to be take him down. He just wants to farm. He's like, I'm just really going to be annoying for you. That's more than anything. Yeah, he just wants to farm. Didn't go aggressive on him. Someone that is going aggressive, though, is Reginald down the bottom. He is having a whale of a time at the moment. Obviously, that blue buff from the very start has just helped him out so much. And potentially we're going to maybe see that if we get to a third game. Very early days, though. We're just about moving into the team phase. Remember, obviously, they have a big bruiserish team here, Moscow 5, so they're going to try to protect Cogmore as much as possible, but Cogmore is trying his best to keep the farm going. 86, though, CS to 115 Chaos, so 30 behind already. Of course, looking towards the mid, you can see that they are very even on CS, but Reginald has picked up that 1-0-3 compared to a 0-1-0, very much between 127 CS, identical at the moment. Up the top, 130 to 132, so again, very much identical. So the big difference at the moment is Chaos is out farming down the bottom, which is something we haven't seen against Genja for quite some time. Obviously, you know, we've seen Chaos doing fantastic, but last game he was under control for a while when that tower was finally pinned off. So at the moment, TSM looking strong, and Reginald again taking them wraiths. I've actually lost count of the amount of times he's come round, taking that big wraith away, and continued to pressure on towards Mordekaiser.
Yeah, and he's really enjoying it as well. That kill that we saw from him earlier on was like Reggie is happy. He's happiest.
You can bet he had a big grin on his face when that happened.
Yeah, more than that even. I guess he was laughing when that all went down. But they still need to keep their focus high here, TSM, and you know, they've got this advantage with the turrets. They're starting to push here, there, and everywhere, but you know, they're not really making any kind of positional advances. We are going to see Mordekaiser coming in. Ulti is down on Reginald, and not a prayer. Not a prayer, Morda.
Yeah, and it was actually Mordekaiser that went for the kill,
yeah.
But Reginald didn't really need the help. At least it obviously came in towards the end there, but Reginald picking up the kill nevertheless. So that's 2-0-3 and 0-2-0 Alex. So Alex is not having as much of a run of mid that he has done in the past, certainly in this tournament so far. This is the first time we've actually seen him up against it, and we actually kind of expected it against Reginald, but it didn't work out in the first game. This game definitely pulling his weight. Rainman, in the meantime, going to go back up to the top and continue his AFK farm. It's what you need to do, and this game is playing perfectly in the hands of TSM. They needed a longer game for Tryndamere, obviously, unless he gets fed early on, which always helps. He just needs to build up. They are going to switch straight across. They wanted to catch Genja maybe, but they're going to push towards this tower. They have a 4-man, 3-man stack down on bottom. Reginald again continuing in the mid there. The two top bruisers continue to farm. So if anything, keeping Darian in that top lane is just winning the game.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and you know, I said they're not really pushing hard in any place, but that's what they're waiting for right now. They're fine that Tryndamere is going to be farming up there, plus getting this kill every now and then, setting themselves up for the Dragons, and slowly but surely pushing this game away. Actually, we are going to see TSM moving back towards the Baron position. Alex is in middle. Needs to be a little bit careful there, actually. If they manage to get in behind him, that could all change. And actually, especially is coming up. Is he going to walk into the path of TSM? Nope, they know where he is, though, because there is a ward down in that curved brush. As we see the pink wards going in and around that dragon area, TSM will back away because it's a 4 versus 5 once Cogmore gets himself in there. And actually, Moscow 5 are going to pull the dragon out of its pit, but are they going to stay to it? TSM are moving in slowly, but surely Tryndamere will join the fight in just a few seconds as well. Dragon continuing to do damage in and amongst all of them, and they are going to push in. They are going to dive. Diamonds is going to go down. Reginald did fall in and amongst it all, but I think Moscow 5 is still coming out way underneath with this one. Rainman's got a kill. Darian's going to go down to Chaos. Where's the other one? It's Genja, who just ran away. And there was another scream from outside in the audience. It is going to be 10-1 for TSM. 4 kills for the 1. They will be very happy about that as they start the Baron.
And I should point out, actually, those cheers, it's just clicked. It's probably from
TSM.
It's probably from every other LoL team that's here, because they know everybody wants to beat Moscow 5. You've got Curse out there, Dignitas out there, SK out there, and everybody said to them, just beat Moscow 5. You've got to beat Moscow 5. So TSM at the moment have become like the favourites in the LoL community for taking it, and they will pick up the Baron. Brilliantly done. So 10-1 in kills and massively up 3-0 on towers. You can see 10k difference now between the gold and diamonds on Shyvana. You know, maybe, I don't know, maybe you could say they don't need to ban Shyvana. They just needed to counter Darian, which seems to have worked. You know, they've kept Gangplank away. They've really just kept him in there, and obviously they took Lee Sin early, which is what they had last game. They jungled with Lee Sin, obviously let Shyvana be the roam top, and it's just worked very well. They just, you know, everything they've maybe thought of. So are they going to say, shall we do the same again if they go ahead and win this one? That's a big if. They haven't won it yet. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. They do have Baron buff though, and they are working their way straight up mid as a 5-man. But if they take this one, more to the point, will Moscow 5 go, right, okay, time to pull out Strat B, which they may have tucked away in their bag. We don't know.
You would certainly expect so, I think, at the level that they are and the way that they've been playing this one. We can see a bit of poke coming down now onto this turret. It is below half HP already. Actually, Reggie just taking the pot there, just to give him that little boost, up to almost 300 AP with that Will of the Ancients, and blasting 1 plus triple Doran's ring, and you can see that Chaos is hammering away on this bottom turret. They need to be careful, Moscow 5, that TSM don't decide all of a sudden to just say, bam, just like that, exactly like that. They're going in there. We are going to see the new ulti go off, which does pretty much nothing. Diamonds is ignited and will fall actually to Sona in the end. Xpecial doesn't want to get cut off from his team here, but that is going to be a 2-for-1 again in favor of TSM. Reginald continues to just push a little bit. I think they'll go for this turret. I think they'll keep going at this point.
They've got absolutely no reason why to back off. They're going to just poke it away from range. They are, you can see Darian's already very low. Mordekaiser hasn't got a great deal, but I think they're going to possibly back. I'm just going to see whether they're actually going to pick anything up. Their mid turret is pretty low, so they might just think, let's just take that one. Rayman building up a bit of health, so possibly even could tank it with KX. It's what they might go for. No, they're just going to back straight away. They do have Baron buff, of course, but they are going to continue to farm, so they're going to steal away all the buffs. Red's not up, so Rayman has been CV'd, so he's going to back away from that one. Actually, that's his own CV, isn't it? So they have backed off and going to spend that gold. How much gold have they got? 2,300 on Reginald, 1,300 on Siva, and well, it's a good reason to go back when you got nearly 2.5k on you. What will Reggie do with that? Hasn't gone back yet, hasn't teleported in, so I guess he's just going to sit on that nest egg
and then come back twice as strong next time he's back into the fight to try and catch Moscow 5 a little bit more unaware in these fights. I mean, they've dropped 2 kills here, one onto Reginald, one onto the odd one, and they've picked up 12. It's, you know, just going so well for TSM. We are going to see them continue to poke around this middle area. Chaos bouncing blades just destroying the minion waves that are coming out now, and we are going to see Rayman actually tanking this turret. I'm not sure, by the way, if we've seen Rayman even need to use his ulti yet.
No, he's just been lapping up that Siva ulti every time it gets used. Xpecial picking up a bunch of farm now. He's like, Reggie, really, this is the only gold I get. just let me have a single ward. Oh, he saw it again. We nearly get placed again now, and we'll take it down. Actually, I think Reginald's probably saving to go to Rabadon's death cap directly. Via the needlessly large rod instantly sort of thing. We do see Moscow 5 having a look around, but they are actually trapped in their base at the moment. Cogmore has tried to continue his farm down the bottom though, so we've got to keep
sandwiched in the middle. They're actually going to get in there. Reginald missed his ultimate. We are going to see the new ulti go off. We did see Xpecial throw his ulti down as well. Gosu Pepper is surely a dead man. Yeah, he runs straight into Chaos there. Diamonds did though get away, but can they escape everyone else? Darian is now the focus of the attention. Good work from Reginald to knock him back, and this top turret is going to be the next focus. They do have that siege minion. Not that that really makes that much of a difference at this point when they're up there with 4 guys. But that turret is going to go down very quickly. Gosu Pepper, who, you know, he's not had much to say about this game, to be honest. 0-4-2. He's really not been in it all that much. As TSM will once again back away. Baron buff is gone now.
So the big important question for me is, will the Moscow 5 ban out Sona? Because I don't think they realise just how big a weapon TSM believe that is.
They'll also get first pick next game.
They will. So there's a lot of things that could change should we make it to game 3, which at the moment is looking almost certain, as they have a 14k gold advantage. CV used, and actually they will spot the Rayman. Rayman's thinking, I fancy a bit of that.
Yeah,
big
he can't stay there. He's not as big as he looks.
And of course he's building into an Infinity Edge. He's already got Phantom Dancer and Wriggles completed with those Berserker Greaves. If he gets that Infinity Edge
he's
complete,
already insane.
It's just like, yeah, you're not going to survive that a great deal. And it's up to 1,300 gold. He's going to need a chunk more than that, but they continue to invade and take everything from the jungle away from Moscow 5. And as is the situation when you get like this, you know, you're trying your best to keep your 2 carries farming away. Darian at the top there hammering away, really needs to pick up as much CS as he can. Genja was down the bottom trying to get as much as possible. Genja actually does have very little damage, a lot of attack speed though, so he's relying on the buffs and the abilities and the help that his team will give him, picking up that red buff, obviously just using that long range poke. But they are well out of position here because TSM are just looking to go straight in towards the tower. They have a stack of minions coming in. The only person there is Alex. He's had to flash away, gets exhausted. Alex is going to get popped before the rest of the team can react. Now Moscow 5 are coming across, but it's all too little too late. Aurelia has ported back though, has taken down that top turret for them, and that is actually the first turret of the game for Moscow 5, but TSM are in their base, killing their dudes and taking the tower down. That will be the first Nexus turret gone. Will they go for the second? The actually Boomerang Blade completely missing there. Gosu Pepper has been dotted up. You can see it ticking down on him. Darian only at half health as well. Haven't really had much of a chance to dive in or pop his ulti or do anything. At the moment, they're trying their best to take this turret down. Minions are just about to get cleared out. Will they continue to stick around? Yes, they will. They're going to go forwards. Genja has to flash straight out. Crescendo going across. Diamonds goes down. Gosu Pepper pop. Darian's going to follow. And of course, that will be a kill just about on the fountain, just about flash to it. They will take the Nexus turret down. And Joe, I think we might be seeing a second game shortly. Rayman finally using his ulti. That's the first time I've actually caught it. I'm sure he's probably used it a couple of other times, but that's definitely the first time we managed to catch it. Oh, a complete dive onto Genja there from the odd one. They are going to poke at this Nexus. I don't think they're going to get it down this time. They're going to have to back away because the rest of Moscow 5 are starting to spawn, but TSM are now pretty much got that 1 foot into the third match.
Yeah, and, you know, Alex was kind of out of position there. He was trying to defend his bottom turret.
He was in position. Everybody else was out of position.
If you look at it that way, I suppose it's right. He was in position, and the rest of his team weren't. But he put his ulti down on Tryndamere, which for me is like... Why? If you're gonna, in that situation, you at least need to do some damage with it, which, you know, to Tryndamere is just like not a problem whatsoever. And they pushed in there. That inhibitor's down. Those 2 turrets are down. It's a wide open Nexus. And if we look at Tryndamere, he's actually gone up to Last Whisper there, just building a bit of magic with this with that Negatron cloak.
Full armor pen, yeah.
I mean, the worst thing at the moment for Moscow 5 is, if they get caught out of position, Tryndamere can, in theory, just leg it into their base and kill their Nexus.
He could easily backdoor it, yeah, definitely, without a doubt. And he's got the agility pot on as well. You can see the speed he's hitting these things. He's only in for 480 at the moment. Aim Fedge, once that gets built up, which would be like, oh hi. He could probably actually... Oh, looking across, they've tried to catch out the odd one there. Tried to dive in. Special does put Crescendo across. Alex dancing away, and the odd one immediately jumps on him. Chaos is with him. He's going to bounce it across there. Gets exhausted actually, and Diamond now completely caught out of position. Tries to ulti through, and Chaos becomes godlike as Tryndamere now thinking, right, I'm after that big fat the Nunu that's around there. I can get him. But no, they've wisely called it and said, ignore them, let's just go straight for that base. They're going to pick up the inhibitor, yeah, in fact they're going to ignore the inhibitor, direct for Nexus turret, do not pass go, collect £100, and you will take victory. 19-3 is the kills, and TSM have unlocked the key that is Moscow 5, as Moscow 5 lose their first match of the tournament. And that is a big, big confidence boost for TSM. Surely they are going to be thinking, right, we've got this now, we know how to do it.
That's a massive confidence boost. And, you know, before this tournament, everyone was looking at Moscow 5 as the winners, like, pretty much instantly before the tournament even started. But we made 1 point on the first day, which was Moscow 5 is one of the only teams here, maybe even they're the only team who's not played on a stage like this before.
Yeah.
And now is when that is really going to affect Moscow 5, if it affects them at all.
And what are we looking at the body language from these guys? We saw them earlier, they were just like chilling, sat back. Actually, Darian still looks pretty chill, doesn't he, in the bottom corner there? He's just like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. But actually, for the first time, you know, they're starting to have to really talk. They weren't even talking before, they were just like, it's okay, this is no problem, we've got it covered. If you want to quickly look in towards the game screen, you can see obviously the kills, obviously they're doing, looking at the players, you can see TSM there. They actually, they're not talking this time around. Maybe they have a super secret strat, maybe they're going to pull out, but we can see obviously that, you know, they're just the builds, they were way ahead. It's the first time we've seen Moscow 5 so heavily beaten. Now Darian on Aurelia, he got a lot of CS, 228, I think the highest on the map. So obviously he was at the top there, but he didn't get to do his invade, which was what was causing the problems for so many teams so many times. So they've just done a great job of controlling him. The question is, will Moscow 5 counterban anything they've picked up there? You can really only get away with a hypercarry Tryndamere probably once. Actually didn't have that much of an effect on the team, but that was kind of all built in with it. And again, will they maybe pick Lee Sin first? Like you say, they've got first pick and first ban, I believe, this time around.
Yeah, and he stopped Darian really from moving around there, because Tryndamere, you know, once he gets built up like that, he's going to push a lane really, really quickly. And Darian just couldn't afford to go there. Obviously, we're going to move into match number 3 now, which is what everyone wanted to see.
Yes.
We wanted to see all these best of 3s. There's a quick look at the scoreboard, a real quick look at the scoreboard. It's like There it is. In and gone. But KX finished 7-0-9. He was the top scorer actually in that one. Odd one 4-1-12 as well. But enough about that game. We're going to be going to a quick break. But when we come back, it will be match number 3. If you go anywhere, you're going to miss an amazing one.
The Intel Extreme Masters is powered by
So, welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters Global Challenge Grand Final here in the Ukraine, Kiev. And it is, of course, the League of Legends Final. If you're just tuning in, you've just missed 2 great performances. I'm not going to say really amazing games. We saw 2 teams...
oh, I don't know.
They were really good. They were really good games. I'm not going to say they're bad games or something like that. That's for sure. But we saw 2 very, I'd say, commanding performances in those first 2.
Yeah,
there were clear winners.
There were clear winners. And well, the first game actually was tense for a while until Darian started the invade. And then things started to snowball a little bit. The turrets went down, etc. The bottom lane was starting to be lost. This game, though, last one you've just missed, was very, very strong. And TSM seemed to have figured it out. The big question is, will they be able to carry on with that, you know, that unlocking? Will they be able to give Reginald that blue buff at, I think it was level 2 or level 1, something around there, which obviously forced the issue on Mordekaiser. Now, Alex can play a lot of heroes. He's played the top, the jungle, and the mid for various teams and played it very well. The big question is, will he change? I don't expect to see Mordekaiser this time because he thought, right, okay, fine, I got zoned out, you know. Reggie got the kill early on, he chased it on the race, and that turned things in mid especially. I mean, Reggie had complete control of the mid then, which is fine. Down the bottom, it's the first time we've seen Genja actually getting really outdone by KX. Genja had complete control in the first game. He eventually zoned him out, kept him away from the tower. He didn't actually take the tower down, let the minions do the damage on that, and just forced them out. So he zoned them out not only from the gold and the experience, so he had complete control there. Jungle-wise, I thought the odd one was really on it there, actually. He seemed to do a fantastic job. No invades whatsoever, and of course, don't forget, the game started out 2-0 because TSM, after the invade, they went up the top and then immediately came down and caught 2 people out of position because M5 thought, right, okay, you're going top, we'll try and steal your red. But I think TSM were like, we'll fake it and go up here. And they immediately channeled straight down the river and got those double kills. And don't forget, that kill went to Chaos and the Rayman up top. So a lot of things really worked in TSM's favour from probably about 3 minutes into that game, which seems to be a key point in these games of when things are going to happen.
Yeah. And I'm not sure why Moscow 5 went for, because they picked Mordekaiser after Cassiopeia was already locked in, right? Yeah. Which for me, I don't really agree with that selection. I think that Cassiopeia in the hands of Reginald is too strong for Mordekaiser.
He was 3rd pick, I think Cassiopeia Reginald was. So
yeah, TSM had 1st pick.
Sona.
And then...
Always seems to be.
Yeah, Sona was 1st pick, and then it was Siobhan and Nunu, and then Cassiopeia was in the next round of picks, and then Moscow 5 went for Mordekaiser.
And they really wanted Nunu, and I'm not sure if that, you know, against Sona, Expressial seems to really have it locked down. He's like, okay, you're going to play that, so we know how to counter it very easily. And don't forget, Dignitas actually play it, so I don't know how much they've practiced against each other, because Dignitas do run Nunu bottom lane. They have done quite a few times. Rammus banned straight out there. They really don't like Rammus. There's something about TSM in the old one. They don't want him playing that Rammus build. Rise has also been banned out every time by TSM this time. Aha! Cassiopeia has been banned this time, so no more counter farming from Reginald on those Wraiths. What's he going to do to reply? Gangplank again picked out. So quick bans again between these two teams. They have a clear objective. They know what they want to target for. The question is, what sort of team will they go for? LeBlanc taken out, so they didn't want Reggie taken out, and Galio, which caused so many problems in the first game. Obviously Alex was very strong, he can farm very well. Now we have Alex on Karthus. Well, this could be good.
Yeah, I guess we can expect that when Karthus isn't out.
They're going to take Sona away from TSM. That's even bigger, I think.
Yeah, and that's something that you know, props to Jat, who wrote that as well. It was like one of the biggest things we're going to see with the bans and picks is Sona first, and then they're like, oh yeah, Karthus, let's take him. So Karthus will be in the hands of TSM. They've locked in Lee Sin as well. Again. Yeah, Lee Sin again. I really
blue buff
like
exchange early on again there this time from the old one. So yeah, there's a lot of tactical chess, I think they call it. I'm not too sure what the StarCraft term is here, when they like to refer to that as fast action chess or whatever they like to call it. But there's a lot that happens in the couple of minutes that goes into this picks and bans. We saw it with SKTSM. A game can be lost very quickly in this era.
Again.
Well,
yeah, against Karthus.
Yeah, against Karthus maybe. It is a very different story, but I'm guessing Reginald will have that blue buff early on. The question is whether Moscow 5 will maybe even try and counter that blue buff early on. I'm not too sure. Obviously, there's nothing beyond the realms of possibility what they've been doing. Here we go. Could be the possible AD Kennen. Now, AD Kennen could probably hold that bottom lane 2v1. So we could have different laning phases, which we had the very first game, Moscow 5 versus SK. They had a Kennen down bottom 2v1. They had
Ronan and Sona.
They actually had a double in mid for a short while. Sona was roaming all over the place and assisting the junglers. We look like we may be moving back into that one. So X Special is going to fall back to his lovely cow. We love the cow.
Everyone loves the cow.
Everyone loves the cow.
Best champion design ever. Cow.
Pig cow.
I love it. And Sivir, who, you know, Chaos, I don't think we've seen a bad Sivir game from Chaos. In fact, I'm not sure that we've seen a bad game from Chaos at all, to say that. Darian is looking like he is once again going to be locking in the Shyvana. The question is, will they have Shyvana in the jungle? Didn't have the luck that they had when Shyvana was top lane with all that going on. But will we see something else in the jungle? Is that going to be top lane jungle Shyvana? And it's going to be a top lane Shyvana. So they're going to be putting Skarner in the jungle.
This is going to be two people in the jungle permanently, I think, here. I think we're going to see Kennen, like you say, on his own. We are going to see Sona roaming, I believe. Obviously, Skarner can pretty much take what he wants in the jungle as well as Shyvana. So I expect to see Darian possibly trying what he's done throughout this tournament. He's not seen him do it against TSM yet, early phases. I think maybe a level 1 push here. And TSM will be ready for it. So it's a case of how they counter it. Obviously, they've got Clairvoyance. They've only got one each. Whether they're going to go early ward stacking, I'm not too sure. We're going to see the final pick from TSM here. And of course, TSM, they've got that severe ulti again. Will they go for Tryndamere? Tryndamere is available. Worked out quite well in the last game. Not too sure whether they're going to pull it out again. Let's see what they're going to do. They're going to realise that Kennen could be either top or bottom now. Darian could just be top or bottom. They could just flip the lanes around here, change the meta completely. It's not beyond the realms of possibilities at the moment. There's a lot of thinking going into this one. This is
taking his time.
Yeah, well,
to get this one. I mean, it's the third and final game of the grand final.
This is it. This is
the
winner.
You mess up this time and you've lost the tournament. We can almost forget the last two there, and Irelia are gonna come in.
I'm not convinced about that one. I don't think Rayman's played Irelia that great this tournament. I'm not saying he's bad at it at all. You know, I'm just saying he's not played that great this tournament. I think he's.
Actually, we saw his Irelia against Riven. Yesterday.
Well, yeah, against Soaz. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, which actually he didn't do too bad that time around. Okay, it's a pretty good comp, and we can see kind of what both are aiming for. Obviously, we want Reginald in the middle. Expect to see blue buff given to him earlier on. He's going to try and counter Alex again, just like he did before. Kennen, I don't know whether he's going to be top or bottom. Darian, I would expect to be top, but we just don't know. We know with Shyvana, we've seen him invading so many times, and you know, can survive. He's got a heal, you can see on him as well. Can survive on his own for quite a while without Ghostly Pepper. So,
however, we do have a slight different situation in map because Moscow 5 are blue side this time, which means he doesn't have such easy access over into the jungle on the other side. I mean, you've got the golems there on the top. Before it was easy movement in onto the wolves.
Well, yes and no. Darian could be taking the red pretty quick from the top.
That's true as well when he gets in there onto the red.
Yeah, so there's a lot of possibilities available in this game, and I'm actually quite excited for this one. It is the grand finals, ladies and gentlemen, here at Intel Extreme Masters in Kiev. If you've just tuned in, you've missed two awesome matches. It is all square 1-1. TSM picking the first game off Moscow 5. Moscow 5 picking the very first game off TSM. Neither had lost before this finals. It is very much all in the hands of the players as we move into the final stages of the match. And really, Joe, who is your money on?
I don't think anyone would blame me right now if I ran in there, ripped up the ESL rulebook and made it a best of 5.
I think the players might, if whoever wins this match. I think they might be a little bit upset. But, well, I mean, the pressure, like we talked about, Moscow 5 have not been on stage finals. They have been actually sat on that stage, that exact position they're in right now. When we came in on the Wednesday or the Thursday, the very first time we got here, they were actually playing their ranked games on there. So they were technically warming up for the finals.
Yeah, they were showing the guys here at the Cybersport Arena. They do have this stage all the time. It's not something we've built here. This is there the whole time, and teams can, when the big teams are here, they let them play on the stage and they show everyone who's here while they're watching, eating the food, whatever. But yeah, in terms of who's my money on, I said right at the very get-go, Moscow 5, and to be honest, I'm going to stick with that one. But anyway, we're going to let the players do the talking. This is, of course, the third and final matchup. The winner will be decided here between Moscow 5 and TSM.
So here we go. What will happen at the very beginning? That's what has really told the game for the last two matches, and really for Moscow 5's tournament, if all his truth is told. TSM, are they going to counter-invade? They are looking and expecting a red, I think. And we are seeing Shyvana in mid at the moment. Skarner is hanging around blue buff. Will they move up towards red? Where's the CV's going to go? Let's keep our eye. They have warded up, TSM have warded up towards the red, just above the race, to see if anything's going to move towards there. As of yet, there is no wards gone out from Moscow 5. So TSM pinging. They're hoping they can try and catch someone else here. Yeah, and you can see lay wasting on the bush there. They're just trying to get a position, get a fix on Moscow 5, and we can see that Moscow 5 just are not moving.
Going for it.
They're not invading. They're not going for it. They're going to play it careful, I think. We're going to see Diamonds getting a pull on blue or not. TSM, they've caught a glimpse of Darian, so are going to invade towards Alex. Now, remember, Alex got caught out last time. He was actually first blood, but I think TSM have realised we're going to get nothing from this, guys. We need to back off. You can see immediately Aurelia is going back to top. The odd one is going to pull the race. He's going to take a little help from Reginald. Will they go for the bottom here? Yes, they will do. Try and steal on towards the golems. I'm trying to look at the experience bar, and Genji did actually get both of those, as no experience went towards Chaos. And they will take the red buff. So an invade from TSM, and no counter invades at all from Empire this early on. So Reginald will finish off that red, and of course he can go looking for ganks now. So maybe he's going to go towards Mordecai as a Joe, or could he go down bottom? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think they'd rather have Mordecai's are taken out of the middle, yeah. And we'll see if Reginald is able to get into position to do this one. Odd one is coming in from behind. Actually, Alex is on the top side, so that could change it. Actually, we do have Skarner in there as well, but they are going to make the pressure now down onto Mordecai's, who does have the exhaust, but they don't fancy it here. Reginald still level 1, not quite got the power to make that all happen. And that will be safe Mordecai's. But nice timing from Moscow 5 that they had Skarner there, because they would have gone for that had Skarner not appeared.
Yeah, definitely would have gone for that one, and could possibly have made it count. We have a ping up towards top. Yeah, there is Darian. Darian's going for the invade towards the ready. Knows that the odd one's there. Actually, they're both diving in towards him. Diamond going to force him away and maybe steal some of that jungle away. Yes, he will. You can see the 4 golds ticking away on your screen. Back down the bottom, you can see Genja also trying to put pressure down on towards Chaos and Xpecial, keeping him out. Back towards the top. That invade continues, and M5 are trying desperately to pull away this red buff. And remember, odd one has stole their own one, so they have to try and win out this fight. And Reginald is going to cut across. Reginald, you can see also with Alex down the bottom there, has been pulled out of it. Diamonds is going to go down. First blood drawn this time. They're going to go towards Darian now. Slowbar actually, Wall of Pain trying the best to keep him away. Darian will back away from that one, but TSM again picking up first blood. Very nicely played, and really that was a tense stuff between all of them. Again, like I mentioned in the second game, top lane, mid and jungler all having to pull all together at the same time.
Yeah, and down at the bottom, Genja doing a great job here of trying to push back. He's actually gone for 1 point in each ability just to, I guess people are quite interested as to what Kennan's going for, the AD Kennen, so they can terrorize everyone else by playing him in the solo queue as well. Xpecial just been stunned up there on the turret, but won't be too much to write home about. Early wards down in the bottom side of the river, one just on the ramp there at the next to that tri-bush. Up at top, Darian and Rayman just hammering away on each other a little bit, but not too much there either. There's only 100 difference actually in gold, but we are going to be seeing TSM in this blue buff. It's going to go to Reginald, no surprises, so he's going to try and terrorize that Mordekaiser in middle for a while.
Yeah, and of course, let's not forget that Lee Sin picked up the blue buff when he got the kill on Skarner, so it is all working out again for TSM. So Moscow 5 are finding themselves under pressure like they were in the first game, and it's interesting to see whether they can change things up. Mordekaiser backing off. We'll see what happens with that one. And Genja is, like you say, just quite happily farming down the bottom there. 36 CS to 15 is a big difference already early on. So Genja definitely in full control down the bottom there. Of course, they have that poke that Sona offers, along with Genja's really long-range shurikens that you have. Can point difference. Darian stealing the red buff again. So going for the invade up the top there, though. And I think he's going to get it. Nobody's aware of this one. So he returned back there, taken down very low in health. So it is a very ballsy move. And he will port back. This time, I don't think the Rayman pinged it at all. I don't think he was aware of what happened. And you can see, yeah, here comes the odd one. He's going to go, oh, my buff's gone. This is what the... Wait. Yeah, there you go. He immediately knows, countered. So he will have the timer down. Remember, he picked up the red buff of Moscow 5. So I expect to see him immediately trying to counter on that one. Oh, and of course, Alex taking the rates. No, he's backed off. He's just warding. I get excited about that.
Just wanted to get that down, but Reginald will be. So you didn't get excited for nothing. There was something going on there. Odd one coming in and he's like, dude, stop it.
Get off my race.
Never mind, leave me alone. Meanwhile, down at the bottom, we are seeing Chaos and Xpecial moving a little bit further out from the turret. Pepper is actually the one that's trying to annoy him, just throwing those power cords over whenever he possibly can onto them. In terms of CS down bottom, 30 to 50, so a 20 CS lead. That's a considerable amount actually down that bottom early on for Kennen. However, Chaos and Xpecial, they've been keeping it safe. They've not actually left the lane yet, or at least Chaos didn't. And Xpecial didn't either, looking at what he's got there as his items. So, you know, it's not all bad. I suppose they'll be starting to push out in that little while. Is the turret taking damage? A tiny amount. We did see the invade there from the odd one once again down onto this bottom side. Skarner was doing the race, though.
Yeah, and a great call from Moscow 5. They've got that singular ward there. If you just take the vision away, you can see that singular ward. So they saw the old one passing over. They knew he was either going for the wraiths or the red buff. Skarner came across, cut across towards the red buff, and immediately bot lane completely backed out. So great communication, great reactions between them. Back up the top there, you can see Darian again keeping the Rayman away from the CS a little bit here. So having a bit of control. 43 to 48 CS, so very even between the two, because obviously the big thing with Aurelia is you can easily farm on the turret. In the mid, no early kills from Reginald this time. He did get a blue buff early on, but that was worn off. And Mordekaiser actually keeping only a couple of CS ahead. That will soon swing back and forth between the two. But it is very even this time around, which is kind of what we expected. So red buff this time will be given to Diamonds. Will he give it across to his AD carry? No, he won't. He'll take it for himself. So expect to see Diamonds looking for some ganks very soon.
Yeah, I expect that as well. Actually, Alex just taking away the wolves there as he gets himself back over towards his lane. We do have Reginald going back there, has finished off the Sorcerer's Shoes, got himself a Ruby Crystal Ward, a couple of pots in there just to keep that lane sustainability going. Mordekaiser does have an amp tone, plus the boots that he got right at the start of things as well. I think we saw Kennen go home. Yeah, triple Doran's Blade built up now for Kennen compared to double Doran's over the other side. And we are seeing Darian, as you can see on your screens now, stealing. That thief.
He's definitely stealing those golems away, and the odd one's going to obviously come back around there in a moment. The Rayman had backed away, so he's just been back to bite. And picking up a Ruby Crystal to go with that Vampiric Scepter. So the odd one actually not going up that way. Blue buff must be due, yeah, because Reggie was starting to make his way across there. Remember, Dragon Time is due, and it's looking like Moscow 5 may well be setting up for this one. Bottom lane has come along there, and TSM are all too aware of that. They put this Clairvoyance immediately down there, and a pink ward from X Special this time around, trying to take down that ward. Will do. And they managed to take the pink ward down. That's going to be costly straight away. So Moscow 5 clearing out that pink ward that they managed to get down. Obviously, they've got the pink ward of their own there. And let's have a quick look. Top lane at the moment isn't moving, so I'll keep my eye on that one. Although, as I say that, Darian's ported back. See whether he manages to go straight back towards the dragon. Looks like he's heading towards top, so I'm not too sure we're going to see a dragon just yet, Joe. It looks like they've all returned to lanes. We do have a blue buff invade, though. Diamonds is going to come across, puts that ward down actually on blue buff, already picked up by Reginald, though.
Yeah, Reginald taking that one away. It was a little bit too far. They pulled it out, and that stopped Diamonds getting anywhere near it. However, he is going down, and he is going to start off on Dragon. However, is there a ward? Nope. There's not a ward pretty much anywhere near. Right, since we are going to see the flash ulti from Pepper. That was a great one. Great vision from TSM. Actually, the ulti got the last hit as well, so they have a ghost just to annoy TSM that little bit more. Clairvoyance goes down, but I don't think that TSM can really do anything about that one whatsoever. And Darian, by the way, just stealing away more golems. And his timing's like really impeccable as well. I'm not sure if TSM realise how often Darian is in their own jungle.
Yeah, now he's taking the red. Yeah, he's. This is what we talked about. You know, he's been invading. That's what with Shyvana in the first game.
And they did so well in the second game to stop him.
They did, yeah. And whether that was just Trendemir keeping him true, or whether it was a case of Reginald obviously winning so strongly in the mid in that second game. Oh, Reginald's getting caught out, had to counter flash. Actually, the odd one had come in to help, but Reginald was already flashed back away from that one because he was all too aware of Alex coming up behind him. So at the moment, Moscow 5 starting to get a little bit of control, a little bit of a handle on this game, and again it is Darian starting to impose his will on that top lane, and Reginald with that blue buff, he's going to have to farm. 93 CS to 82, does have that slight lead. Down the bottom, of course, it is 80 CS for Chaos and 94 for Genja on Kennen at the moment. That AD Kennen that he's been running, as you can see, he has leveled up Electric Surge 2-4, left everything else at 2-1. So piling in on Electric Surge at the moment, which you guys probably want to keep your eyes on. I would not know the wards, the runes he's been using. Darian again. This time he's going to get caught out. The ping's gone down. The odd one comes around. Aurelia's also moving in the position. They do have Skarner, though, coming through the jungle. Going to be coming up behind the odd one. The odd one actually taking a huge amount of damage. That's going to be the ulti from Darian there. He's going to continue diving. The odd one will go down to Darian. Now they're going to be at a 2-on-1 position. Can they pull Rayman away from the turret? Yes, they can. Ulti coming out from Karthus. I'm not sure if it's going to quite be enough. Darian almost going to go down. He will pick up the kill. Very nicely played, and now Reginald in all sorts of trouble. Ulti goes down. Reginald is dead. He is not going to get out of this one. Very, very well played by Moscow 5. Tries to dodge out, puts that layways down, but he does manage to escape it, and Diamonds is just going to push forward, and of course Reggie, the Ghost, is going to now attack that turret. Back down the bottom, And, well, it is that story. They have kept pushed on towards that tower, but really it's been about that top lane again. It is all about Darian's invade. MVP by a mile for me.
Down at bottom there, we actually had the push coming in. Genji was forced to use his summon heal, but we are going to see the pressure coming down, and he's just going to get himself as quickly as possible out there. Look at Special though, charging in. Looks like Pepper is going to go down to Chaos. He is indeed, and Genji needs to get away from that. And he will manage to do so. 4-2 the score for Moscow 5. And I'll tell you what, from what could have been a bad invade there up on the top side from Darian, turned very nice, actually, for Moscow 5. Great reactions by Skarner to get in there.
Absolutely, full reaction speed. Like you say, Skarner was already on the way to come and help out. He'd realised that Aurelia was starting to edge towards him. They knew the jungle was missing, and immediately the two mid lanes again responded and came straight up there. And Reginald getting caught out and just taking the damage from Alex all the way up that top lane. And now Darian really has, I think, a bit of control over Rayman. The Rayman at the moment is... Well, you can see he's 30 CS behind because Darian's constantly been invading. As soon as that lane's pushed, there we go, look, he's off again. Lane's pushed up to tower. I'm going to go take some golems, which are not there because Lee Sin had just been there, and comes straight around, and he's looking for Lee Sin. Lee Sin's actually ready. You can see the odd one. So ping goes down. Is he going to come with Reginald? Yeah, Reginald's going to come across. Wall of Pain goes down there. The odd one manages to get in towards the damage of him, and I had to back away as soon as that burnout was running. And then, well, Darian... He does have a lot of damage on him, and Reginald, the odd one, can't actually stand and bang with him. He cannot fight, so he's had to back away. Chaos back down the bottom. He has got a BF sword now, Joe, so there's a bit of damage going to come out to him. And you can see Special now coming back. He's just warded up the river. As soon as I come back, Pepper gets caught, but it's just a swift headbutt and backs away. Very, very tense stuff here. 4-2 the kills. Could go either way.
Yeah, 3k gold is the difference that we're sitting on right now. So close, and we are going to see Darian pushing. That turret's going to go down, and Rainman's like, hey, you know what? These are on my side of the map. I'm going to take these golems. He did steal the second one there. And Raymond's going to be forced to back away once again. And we do have the Wraiths there up for the taking. And Moscow 5 are going to try and take this blue away as well. They've got wards in there. They're there with 3 guys. They should be able to take this one. Actually, there's the Oracle on diamonds as well. So they were able to clear out what limited vision TSM had around that area. And diamonds is now double buff. And are they going to go in there? We'll surely see diamonds pop his ulti on one of these 3. He needs to be careful, though. He is a little bit out there. He did get kicked away by Lee Sin as the ulti from Karthus comes in. They were actually all full HP from Moscow 5 anyway, so that won't make any difference whatsoever.
Yeah, and they need to be careful. Shyvana's cutting actually back across to have a look towards Reginald. He is very strong already, and he's going to try... Well, actually, he was just coming down to steal the farm, wasn't he? And Genji was like, hey, this is mine, I'm going to have some of this. And like, no. So the mid and bottom fighting over farm. Remember that dragon will be due soon.
Oh, top lane, Rainman's pushed the turret.
So, taking the turret a piece, and that is going to actually free up... Oh, you saw Diamond just flash through, trying to get towards Reginald, exhausts him down, trying his best to defend from the ulti. He does manage to get ulti through, and just absolutely destroyed by a double ulti. And that means immediately Genja comes in, gets on towards the Rainman, pops that ulti across, gets the stun. Will back away, though. X-Special was coming through to try and headbutt someone towards that tower. But it was all to no avail, and even the Reggie Ghost is getting the treatment from X-Special there.
That'll really annoy Reginald, by the way, that Alex gets to control him for a while.
Yeah, that's really, really going to get back to him. Genja coming back down the bottom here, and Chaos is trying his best to pick up a bit of farm. It's going to be an AD versus AD. We've seen Genja doing this a couple of times, actually getting very aggressive on the opposition AD. Meanwhile, in the mid, you can see it's down to half. The invade again on Darian is going to be taking that. The odd one is just above him, and now he's just going to have seen it gone down. The clairvoyance goes, and he's like, there's nothing you can do about it. Moscow 5 turning the screws ever so slowly on TSM here.
Yeah, and I read a post last night on Reddit, as we are going to see that dragon. If we get into a fight, I'll stop blabbering on. But it was a cool one that was like 6 months ago. We would be excited when they ran into their jungle and stole their wolves. This tournament, it's almost become normal that there's the constantly stealing those buffs away, and that just shows the evolution of the game over, in my opinion, for a competitive game, a fairly short space of time.
And is that down to the new jungle which is out there, which I guess it is? It's kind of a bit more rewarding to counter jungle because you can get a lot of gold stolen away from the opposition. Is it down to the summoner spells that have changed? You know, Riot Games have put a lot into this, from the difference between the tournament we had at Gamescom, the difference between the tournament we had at New York, and in China, of course, from what we've got here, and the game is permanently evolving. I mean, the amount of times we get caught out by patch note changes every time we turn up a tournament, now we're on a different realm, and these things, you know, it keeps the players on their toes and keeps the game evolving, which sometimes you actually don't get. Sometimes you can get a bit of a stalemate in a game, and the beauty of this game so far is we've not had a single team just absolutely dominate. Somewhere along the line, someone will figure it out and come out with something new.
Yeah, and that's a really amazing thing for me. Again, just to point out, you know, the obvious up at the top there, we are seeing Darian stealing away the golems once again. Rayman's just come back into that lane to stop him pushing too hard onto that turret. I don't think Darian really minds that either. He's 3 levels above Rayman, by the way, which just goes to show you. In terms of CS, 175 to 134, so, you know, 40 CS ahead, but 3 levels. That's a rather ridiculous amount for a lane with 2 people in it to have that big of a difference between them. Bottom turret is going to fall to Moscow 5 as well. And we did see that dragon going down earlier, and it stretched the gold out rather rapidly, actually, to a 6k difference.
Yeah, and definitely, I mean, that's the only one tower. There's a dragon involved in that, and obviously the kills we've had, but it's all been about this counter jungling and actually just out farming as well. Down the bottom, 164 to 145. Like you say, that top's a big difference now. And again, what a shock! Darian's in the jungle again on Shyvana, taking all the jungle away from him, warding it up as they go. And this is where they start to push their advantage now. Now that they've got all that gold, you can see there's 3 wards on Skarner. He's going to go around that enemy jungle and actually have a look with that Oracle, clear out the pit of Baron. So already starting to properly preemptive onto maybe taking that Baron early on. That's going to actually give TSM pull their focus completely. Now they've realised we have to be around this area, so we can't afford to be away farming. We need to keep a presence up and around there. Oh, they've caught Darian out, though. Darian's out of position, although he's going towards Chaos. Chaos is not really in the healthiest position, and he's just going to stroll past. Just stroll past around the back there. Just absolutely nothing they can do about it. I mean, there was not a lot that Severe could do. Look at that! Perfect timing. Walks in, wolf spawn, thanks. It's just
unbelievable, incredible, to be honest. Great play from Darian. And we are going to see him now try to take, when I say tried to take the blue, he's going to take this blue away. And that's, I guess, I wish we'd, you know, got a counter to see how many buffs they had and how many were theirs even. Because with this kind of gameplay, it'll be really interesting to pull those stats out and see how many buffs Darian's actually still stolen away, how many of his creep score were actually from the enemy jungle, for example, which must be way, way up into those double figures by now. And Moscow 5, they're pinging all around the Baron area, but are they going to go? I think it may be more a point of saying, okay, so now get yourself home, buy some wards, and come in. We need to get this Baron area warded up before we think about taking that one out.
And what does he do? He buys 5 wards.
Prediction.
So he's like, right,
you can read them pings.
Let's get this complete enemy jungle all covered over, which actually they do have a good portion of already. Meanwhile, while this is all happening, Genji's just been AFK farming down the bottom here. 193 CS already, 161 for Severe. Severe does have the Infinity Edge though, so will be doing a lot of damage. And immediately puts that boomerang blade across, but didn't do a great deal of damage to Kennen. Kennen happily puts up. Oh, Chaos actually popped his ulti here. He wants a piece of Genja. I think Genja's going to have a stun available. You saw him get that snare, and again pops the snare on Insta. Says, yeah, really, you're not going to get close to me. Darian invades. What a gain. And what a special thought about it is, I'm not too sure if I'm in the right position here. I'm actually just back straight away out of that jungle. But they are absolutely just pillaging everything that TSM have. And this is what we've seen throughout the tournament. We didn't quite see it in the second game. TSM really managed to handle it and control it well, but M5 have just turned the screw once again. They've stepped up the game. And, well, TSM trying their best to take this red buff away, but you can see Moscow 5 already moving into position. They have that wards down. It did get it. They were quite close enough to get it down. They are rotating around. They're going to go for Baron, Joe.
Yeah, and the interesting thing that the wards from Moscow 5 are actually all over the place, number one. They've even got them set behind them just in case anyone comes around that corner bush there. Baron is down to round about a third HP. They get rid of the ward that was in there. We are going to see the flashes in, and TSM make a massive charge onto Moscow 5.
Stop.
Alex gets a kill. Odd One will go down. Xpecial goes down. Then it's just going to be a bit of a snowball effect. Baron is picked up. It's an ace. Oh, no, it's not. I tell a lie. Chaos is still alive, but for how long is the real question. He is surely dead. There goes the stun. Heal is used, and there is the ace for Moscow 5.
Desperation move. Pops a heal. It's like, really, it's not going to save you. And I think they may just run straight in the base, straight up the mid, which is beautifully done. Moscow 5 have played this immaculately as well. They've not really put a foot wrong. And they stuck to Mordekaiser, more importantly. Mordekaiser struggled, but they took Cassiopeia out of it and said, we're not scared of your Karthus, Reginald, and really laid down the gauntlet to him. Even with the blue buff, he managed to keep the farm up. And it's all been about Darian at the top. I'm flabbergasted by nobody's kept a control on this man, because he's permanently been in the enemy jungle, and they're like, we're not too. Originally, they said to us, we're not too worried about the jungle invade. It's helping out the lanes.
Yeah,
but that's
if
all
you
he's
remember
done.
the pre-interview.
Yeah,
overhyped.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go ahead and say that's what's won Moscow 5 this game.
Absolutely.
In the first one and in this third set as well. Just to point out now, I think this point of the game is a good time. If you head over to intelextrememasters.com, we are running a vote for the I carried Kiev, the MVP of the tournament. It's pretty much just Moscow. In fact, it is just Moscow 5 and TSM players. Yeah, there's the hoodie, which is a once in a lifetime thing. We don't make any more than one. We order just the one. You get in there one of the BenQ player monitors. There's a player pack from Razer, from Intel. It's good prizes actually for being that MVP.
And interestingly enough, some of these Moscow 5 players, Alex said in his interview, their computers are not good enough to stream. Well, they might be if they get MVP, that's for sure. And picking up $12,000 won't help either, wouldn't be too bad. So we could well see some of these guys streaming a bit more, but Moscow 5 are looking a big favourite for taking the Intel Extreme Masters here in Kiev. They're 24 minutes into this. They've taken the outer turrets pretty much all up mid, about to take this bottom inner turret as well. The top turret is pretty much untouched, but I don't think it will take too much for it to take it down. They're working their way in with the Baron. That will go down in a couple of swings from Mordekaiser there as Alex Inch makes it. It is Alex, by the way. You may be seeing a different name. No idea what that main name means. Maybe it's his real name. I don't know. I'm not even going to say it just in case it means something crazy and random in Russian.
Here we go with the 5-man pushing in onto this bottom lane, and that turret is going to be melted away. Wall of Pain doesn't actually do all that much at this point of the game. We are going to see now TSM moving in for one last try. Diamonds is like, come here, Reginald, you're not going to be involved in this fight. Pulls him away before he gets the kill in there, and they are going all over to Moscow 5. Chaos is going to try and run himself away with the help of the ulti. Genji just trying to get in there right at the end. But TSM, and they're going to lose out to this one, unfortunately. Moscow 5 with 6 men alive right now, since they've got that Ghost Slayer with them for a little bit of help as well. And they are going to go straight in onto the Nexus, and Moscow 5 are going to win the Intel Extreme Masters Global Challenge here in Kiev, in front of a crowd that absolutely loves them and has done for this whole weekend. They have played absolutely phenomenally.
They've been immaculate all the way through it, not without a doubt. There was a single map that TSM took away from them. They immediately reacted with a huge win in that map and completely dominated throughout it. They've been the strongest team throughout this tournament by a long way. They've lived up to what was a lot of hype before this tournament, and that can get to players. It's been their first big stage finals. We question that. They've responded straight away. And the big thing is, you know, this is another team now that's opened the door. They will be going to Hanover. They're going in there as the last tournament winners, which is something, you know, which is huge, because now you're going to have all the teams out there looking out to beat them. How will they respond to it? Who knows? They're going to be practicing like crazy, because that's what they've done. So have Moscow 5 now proven to a lot of teams out there that practice as 5v5s, because they are very, very active on the rank ladder, is what makes it count. And that's obviously what TSM have talked about. You know, they've talked about, we're going to move to EUS, we need to practice, we need to do rank ladders. Things are going to change, I think, over the next 2 months, Joe.
Things are going to change, that's for sure. But TSM shouldn't be too down on themselves for this one. They've showed some great signs, right, throughout this tournament.
Yeah.
They've come through to the final stage, actually, I can say, because the semi-final was a real massive performance from them as well. And they've taken one game away from Moscow 5, which is better than anyone else in this tournament. I don't know. I think TSM, I hope they don't change too much. I hope this doesn't affect them too much. You know, there was a lot of pressure, I think, on Reginald in particular, from themselves. That's the thing, that they wanted to beat Moscow 5 so bad in this one. And credit where credit's due, they went down first match. They came back with so much spirit, they almost seemed to forget that first game. But in match number 3, it's almost like they forgot what happened in match number 1 and were just thinking about what happened in match number 2. But it didn't repeat itself. Shyvana was once again on that top lane, and Shyvana once again ran the jungle.
Darian
on both sides.
Absolutely dominant throughout that. His CS, well, at the end there, he was, what, 231 to the top lane. Where's Rain Man? 166, yeah. And I'd probably hazard a guess as that 166 was probably from the lane. 231, the big difference in that 40 was probably, 70, sorry, was probably from the actual enemy golems and taken away. I'm really interested to see what they're going to say in the interviews coming up shortly. But
and you know, it really surprised me, because I made this point about him being on the blue team, and I just didn't expect it to be so easy for him to get just go in and take red every time, and the red every time. Obviously, who am I to say anything against Darian there? 3-0-7, and it was his final score. A great performance. Moscow 5, their first event as a team together, and they come in here with the likes of TSM, the likes of Dignitas, SK, and you know, every team actually here was a really good team. So Moscow 5, are they the new?
They're the real deal, that's for sure.
Are they the new powerhouse in League of Legends? Oh, they're the real deal, that's for sure.
And I think they've gained a hell of a lot of respect and a hell of a lot of fans from people that were watching this. You know, they've really managed to just prove to everyone, and you only need to look at, say, the forums, the internets, over Reddit, etc., Team Liquid, on the LoL forums as well. There's so many people that have just said, Moscow 5, wow, they are the real deal. And, you know, these guys, they stream. They're going to pick up money from this, just from the streaming alone as well.
So watch them. Make sure you watch them.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, the Go for LOL tonight will be streamed by our US partners over at National ESL, just to get one out there. I want to say a big thank you as well, and I'm sure this counts for Demon, to all the guys over at Reddit, the guys especially at Team Liquid. Great threads they've been having the whole tournament long. And keep watching League of Legends, keep supporting the players, and we'll see you in Hanover.
The Intel Extreme Masters is powered by
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. We're here with our first and second place from League of Legends Moscow 5 and Team SoloMid. Can you guys introduce yourselves real quick to the audience?
Hey, I'm Reginald from Team SoloMid. I'm the AP carry.
I'm Alexich from Moscow 5 team. I play AP carry too.
All right, so walk us through the entire best of 3. Your bans were pretty similar in all 3 games. What were they aimed at? Why did you ban pretty much similar champions every time around?
Well, yesterday we saw their games and we knew exactly what they're going to do, and there were some strategies that we didn't want to risk dealing with, so we banned based on what we saw yesterday.
Ну что, первый вопрос к команде Team SoloMid. Вот во всех 3 матчах в серии Best of 3 финальной у вас были одинаковые баны. Не хотели ли вы что-то поменять и так далее? Она отвечает Reginald на это, что в принципе заранее они все продумали. Ну мы сами с вами наблюдали, что баны у команды TSM были в каждой игре абсолютно одинаковые. И считает полностью Reginald, что был прав.
Okay. And Alex, same question. You guys banned Ramis and LeBlanc every single time, and you had Karthus banned for most of the games. Were those just aimed at Reginald specifically? Why those bans?
Yeah, we don't like playing against Ramus, and we don't like playing against Karthus. We don't like counter-jungling against LeBlanc, because it's really painful when he just can one-shot anyone in his jungle. So we decided these bans, and we changed Karthus to Cassiopeia because we decided that Cassiopeia deals much more damage in team fights.
Ну что, думаю, в принципе, переводить тут особо не стоит, но вы понимаете, что не любят играть против Рамоса как джанглера ребята из M5, также не очень нравится Леблан, который очень сильно мешает контрджанглить, но поэтому, собственно, эти герои были забанены. В 2 играх был забанен Картус, в 3 игре они забанили Кассиопею, которая им во 2 игре принесла очень много неприятностей, так как носила нереальный дисбаланс в тимфайты и очень много носила дэмэджа. Не забанили ни Картуса, взяли Картуса парни из ТСМ, ну и ничего у них не получилось.
Walk us through the first game real quick. You guys started out pretty equal, then Moscow 5 seemed to pull ahead pretty quickly on. What happened? What was the big turning point for the first game?
Well, in my opinion, like every single turning point in all 3 games were the same. Like League of Legends is coming down to the point where you get 1 buff or 1 kill, and if you play well, you can snowball the game and make it look like a stomp. So what happened was every single game we would be out of position, and once they get 1 buff, and then we would snowball. Like, to say this, the second game, for example, right? We were able to get 2 kills, and we snowballed the game. The first game, they got our blue, and they had the timing on it. They came back, they got our blue. They came back, got our blue. And what happened was when Galio had blue, and I had Cassiopeia, he pushes on me constantly, and when his wave's at my tower, he can go around the map and make plays, and I can't do anything about it.
Ну что, вопрос по поводу первой игры. Когда почувствовали уже парни из ТСМ, что она уходит из-под их контроля, говорит Реджинальд, что в принципе в каждый момент игры они начинали это чувствовать с самого начала, как только М5 начали свою активность в чужих лесах, как обычно, когда ты 3 раза или 4 раза ходишь с мида на синий, проверять и попытаться забрать этот баф, но его там несколько раз не оказывается, очень неприятно, и ты теряешь преимущество в игре, начинаешь страдать на линиях, и за счет этого, конечно, Moscow 5 заработали очень хорошее преимущество. Опять-таки Diamond Prox в первой игре сыграл очень хорошо, так же, как и прекрасно отстояла вся команда.
And Alex, similar question. In that first game, Reginald kind of just said that basically once you stole that first blue, you kind of kept that advantage and kept stealing those buffs. Was that the big turning point for you, or when did you think you kind of were really winning the game and could control it?
I think when I survived like 30 HP, that was like for me that was the most point, because when I got I moved back to the lane, and Cassiopeia can't really do anything against Galio when he got like mana regen and magic resist. So, and then I got our blue, and we got the first blue, yeah. So after getting the first blue, we just totally dominated, because Cassiopeia can't outpush without blue buff. So I got advantage on my lane. I could move to the bottom lane to gank. I could move to the jungle for counter jungling to help Lee Sin. So I think, yeah, blue buff was key point at that game.
Ну что, такой же вопрос, собственно, команде М5, и отвечает Алексей, что, в принципе, одним из самых важных моментов лично для него был момент, когда он смог уйти очень на лоу хп, ну а дальше, конечно же, первый украденный баф, а потом постоянные вот это вот походы в чужой лес и рвание синего бафа очень сильно повлияли на игру, потому как Кассиопея, которая не имеет синего бафа, очень тяжело отпушивать линию, очень тяжело и стоять вообще в миде, и поэтому, оставляя Реджинальда без синего бафа, прекрасно чувствовала себя команда М5, прекрасно себя чувствовала, в частности, Алексеич на линии, и это стало одним из самых важных моментов в победе в первом матче.
Reginald, before the game, you said you had a secret AP champion stored up, but we only saw you on Cassiopeia and Karthus. Is that true, and who was it?
It is true, and I thought I felt more comfortable actually because I was playing those champions the whole time, and so I just stuck with the champions I have, and I don't want to tell you my secret champion.
All right, fair enough.
Ну что, вопрос такой, что перед игрой, собственно, ребята хватает, что у них есть какой-то секретный герой, но как бы Реджинальд не особо признается, он говорит, да, это было Кассиопея и Картус, типа как бы у нас есть все-таки задумки, но мы их палить не будем пока.
Alex, this whole tournament we saw you on basically Rise, Galio, and Mordekaiser the entire time. I know when we asked about your jungler, he just likes Shyvana the most. Are these just your favorite champions, or do they just best fit your team? Why do you play these guys over and over?
It's about my own tier list that suits my team. I think that Mordekaiser is top 1 hero in the game, Rise is second hero, and Galio is the third hero.
Ну, вопрос по поводу героев, которыми играет Алексеич, и почему именно ими, почему именно эти герои лучше всего пишутся. Ну, и объяснение очень простое, потому что Мордекайзер — это лучший игрок в игре, Райс — это второй получше герой игры, и третий — это Галио, поэтому, собственно, эти герои постоянно в пике. Ну, наверное, просто нравится ими играть, это лично мое мнение.
Alex, we saw you guys pull out Shyvana all 3 games as finals, but 2 of the times she was actually solo top instead of the jungler. Why that switch to solo top Shyvana?
We decided that everyone will think that we are picking Shyvana for jungle, so and Darian feels him pretty good with Shyvana because at solo top he's just on rampage like in the jungle, so he was just pushing the lane and owning enemy's jungle, and when we were on the top side that wasn't that much because you're close to your jungle, and in the third game that gave him like full dominance of the enemy's jungle. So we decided that Shyvana will be better at top lane, and in the third game we decided that we should use Mordekaiser Skarner combo.
Ну что, вопрос по поводу того, как использовала команда М5 Шивану, то есть в одной игре это было в лесах, 2 раза ее поставили соло-топ, ну и в принципе Алексеевич отвечает, что как бы мы, это когда пикали Шивану, рассчитывали на то, что ТСМ будут думать, что мы ее берем как раз в джанглером, в итоге мы ее ставили соло-топ, тем немного вводили в заблуждение соперника. Ну и Дарьян очень уверенно себя чувствует именно, когда играет Шивану на соло-топе, он прекрасно фармит, прекрасно отпушивает линию, то есть дела у него идут супер и на линии, и в лесу, и вот за счет этого они решили сделать так. Ну а в последней игре это комбо, про которую нам в игре говорил Flash in the Night, что оно одно из лучших, и вот оно сработало на 100%.
Final question, what are you going to do in the next 2 months to make sure that you improve or keep up with your performance here and make sure that you do well in Hanover in 2 months?
Probably just practice execution and coordination with my team because that's probably the most important thing in League of Legends. Like when we're not on the same page in some leagues, like there are key points in the game where we wanted to go to the blue, we knew that they're going to go there, and we just didn't communicate and we didn't get there on time, and it allowed them to get the buff and win the game. So I mean, for the next 2 months we're going to be playing a lot with our team, a lot less solo queue. We're moving to Europe to play there, and we'll be participating in the Go for LoLs as soon as we hit level 30, so we should be participating in the Go for LoLs probably in 2 weeks, get there and play on EU.
Ну что же, вопрос по поводу того, что будет делать в следующих 2 месяца команда Team SoloMid, чтобы хорошо подготовиться к Ганноверу, отвечает на это Реджинальд, что в первую очередь нам нужно будет тренировать координацию наших действий и общение внутри команды, потому что этого очень сильно не хватает, очень сильно нужно работать над контролем рун, очень сильно нужно работать вообще над внутриигровой командой, над внутренней игрой команды, так как, собственно, скилл команды очень, в принципе, хорош, и надо работать именно над общением между собой. Сыграют они несколько Go for LoL, но и будут пытаться побольше играть на EU сервере.
I think that we will practice as we always practice 5-6 hours a day. So, and we will try to find more unorthodox solo combos that can just surprise our enemies, and some, find some find out some strategies, and I think we will try to solve problems with our international passports, so we can attend the championship, because at the moment we got some problems in this kind of stuff.
Ну что, в первую очередь я скажу самое главное, что пока парням из М5 надо порешать вопросы с паспортами. У организации М5 это хорошо получается, поэтому я верю в вас. Тогда все будет хорошо. Ну и в первую очередь их 2 месяца парни собираются тренироваться по 5-6 часов для того, чтобы удивить нас всех в Ганновере, опять-таки, интересными пиками, интересными связками, и как бы удивить всех своих соперников, ну и постараться сыграть там еще лучше и, может быть, привести титул чемпиона мира в дисциплине League of Legends в Россию.
All right, everybody, this has been an interview with Team SoloMid and Moscow 5, the second and first place champions from this League of Legends tournament at IEM Global Challenge Kiev. Thanks so much for watching. Of course, we will be back in Hanover for CBIT for the World Championships. And that's it for League of Legends, guys. Thanks for watching very much.
On February 6th, 2012, the Intel Extreme Masters conquers new ground. After 6 years of pro gaming action, we're going to South America for the very first time. Sao Paulo, Brazil will be the 5th stop on this year's IEM circuit, and it's going to be a mecca for StarCraft fans. 16 of the world's best players will be battling out in a StarCraft-only tournament, fighting for $21,000 in prizes, the Brazilian crown, and of course, the final spot in the World Championships in Hanover. So be sure to come to Sao Paulo Campus Party or to tune in live on February 6th to the streams at ESL.tv.
So welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters Global Challenge here in Kiev, Ukraine. We have just seen an amazing, amazing League of Legends final going all the way down to 3 maps. And they've been playing hard here all weekend, and we've seen great games throughout the entire 4 days. But now it's time to reward the players for their amazing play. And to help me do so, I want to welcome on stage Matt Marcoux from Riot Games, first of all, and Carmack, who is actually known as the Suit here at the Intel Extreme Masters. He told me to say this one. Hi, Matt. Hey. So, I think, guys, we should not let these guys wait anymore. And to bring onto the stage here our 3rd place team. Let's hear it for Team Dignitas. We saw earlier on today the 3rd and 4th place game, of course, which Dignitas took over SK Gaming to secure this 3rd place and, yeah, get 2 at the end there. That's even better than 1. So let's hear it again. Team Dignitas, everyone. So, enjoying the stage time here, Dignitas. They don't want to leave just yet. You can pose for a few more seconds, guys, if you want to. So, we've just seen the grand final just a few minutes ago, and we heard from Reginald there on the couch. A tough best of 3 for Team SoloMid. Unfortunately, they didn't come out on top, but a brilliant performance from them throughout the weekend nonetheless. Let's hear it for Team SoloMid. So let's give them the trophy. A well-deserved second place here. Let's give them some noise once again. Team SoloMid. And now to bring the team who just a few months ago surprised myself and Demon by pulling out some amazing moves in an online tournament. They've come to their first event as a team. They've pretty much steamrolled through the entire tournament, losing just one match the whole time. Let's hear a big round of applause for Moscow 5. And just before we actually hand over the trophy as well, you may have noticed that we were doing the MVP vote over at IntelExtremeMasters.com, and our winner for that MVP vote is here on stage. Where's Diamonds? He's got himself a new blue hoodie.
Diamond.
You have to come claim your prize. There you go, Carmack. These hoodies are not made more than once. There is one single hoodie. Let's hear it for Diamond's great performance, MVP here in Kiev. So time for the trophy. And as we mentioned, their first event together as a team here playing League of Legends. Their first victory. Let's give it up for them once again. After 3, 2, 1 for Moscow 5. So for League of Legends, an amazing tournament with a great story to finish things off. And that will be it for League of Legends here in Kiev. Of course, our next time that we'll see you from the Intel Extreme Masters for League of Legends will be a little bit later on in 2012 at the World Championships at CeBIT in Hanover, Germany. That's not it for the day. I'm going to give Carmack the microphone here in a second because he's got a couple of things to say. But don't forget, if you're a StarCraft 2 fan, hell, if you're not a StarCraft 2 fan, stick around because we've got Demarga versus MMA that should prove to be an amazing final here at the end of the day. But Carmack, you had a couple of words.
It's going to be slightly inappropriate. Mark Merrill, I think you're watching, CEO of Riot Games. We broke the SLTV record of all time at over 230,000, and we expect some Riot points and the League of Legends swag sent to our Cologne offices. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carmack. And just another quick addition, the StarCraft 2 third place is still going on. Third place game is still going on the other stream if you want to check that out. But for League of Legends, thank you very much for watching, guys. We've broke records here with this event. You've been great as always, and we'll see you at the World Championships in March. And he goes jumping in. Amazing round. Great hat-trick from Taz.
Big flashes in and Cass feels but then 20 health left. Oh, no, super flash. The shield clutch.
Oh, a blink into all those units with an amazing defense. Champion of the Intel